Good evening and welcome. Welcome to the May 8th meeting of the Ramona School District Board of Trustees. Welcome to all of our guests. We're going to kick off this meeting after a wonderful celebration, and we're going to keep up the good vibes here in the first part of the meeting. So we have a lot of special things planned. First thing we'd like to do tonight is present the colors. Tonight we're going to have Ramona NJ ROTC presenting the colors for our meeting. Please stand. As an extra special treat tonight, we're going to have James Dukes Elementary School 5th grader playing the national anthem. This is Orrin O'Neill. Please be seated. Thank you very much to the NJ ROTC for that special treat. And Orrin, you're great as usual. He was this is a command performance. He performed for us probably 3 months ago. And it's especially nice to have him here tonight while we're recognizing our employees of the year, our teachers of the year, and our celebrating our retirees. So Orrin, thank you very much, and thank you to his family for letting us have him for tonight and bring him. We're going to jump right in. We're going to start with item C3 on tonight's agenda, which is report of the action taken in closed session. We have nothing to report. Mr. Dome, will you please read the instructions for addressing the governing board?
The Ramona Unified School District welcomes your participation at the school board meetings. Your participation assures us of continuing community interest in our schools. To assist you in the ease of speaking and participating in our meetings, the following guidelines are provided. Orange request to be heard cards are available to all audience members who wish to speak on any agenda item or under the category of item E, public comment. These presentations are limited to 3 minutes per person or 15 minutes per item. Submit completed orange cards to the board's recording secretary in advance of the item presentation. The orange request to be heard cards will not be accepted once the item is commenced. Speakers are asked to direct all comments to members of the board. All participants are asked to be respectful of the speakers when they are addressing the board. Public comment is set aside for members of the audience to raise issues that are not specifically on the agenda. These presentations are limited to 3 minutes per person or 15 minutes per item. Public comments may be submitted online at the link listed at the top of the agenda. Please note that electronically submitted comments will be printed and distributed to the board members and will not be read aloud during the meeting.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is item C5, which is the approval of tonight's agenda.
I'll approve tonight's agenda. It's a motion.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item C6, which is the approval of the consent calendar.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
I would like to pull item H1, please, and consider it separately.
Okay,
Do that again.
can we
Motion and
agenda?
a second.
There you go. If I forget when we get to item H1, will you all please remind me? Therefore, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
That is my amended motion to pull H1, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I second the amended motion.
Very good.
Perfect. Thank you all for keeping us straight. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item D1, which is a school site showcase. Tonight we're going to be have a presentation from Mountain Valley Academy and Ramona Community Montessori School. Please come forward.
Good evening. Thank you so much for providing this opportunity for us to show you what we've been working on all year long. We are excited to share with you how we are leaning into our collective commitments. So we have a video we'd like to present that will bring you onto our campus, let you hear from our students, and see what we've been doing.
So I think this town was really fun, and I think it was a good experience. I would definitely like to try again. I think it helped me to learn that I need to, for one, make sure we're like cashing our paychecks, getting the pay that we need for the work that we're doing, so that we can pay off our loan and still make some extra profit if you're lucky.
Well, I learned that you have to be a successful business, you have to make profit. It was a little hard because at the last minute our business was struggling because the NBC News wasn't paying us some money that they had to give us. Well, we didn't overcome it. We ended up going bankrupt.
What was really interesting was I actually found out that maybe CEO or one of the other business jobs might have been better fit for me, because with the CFO I'm just on the computer all the time, just staying in the chair and just doing the checks.
Yes, I for sure would like to do it again.
Colonial Day 2025 by Joshua Anderson. Recently, all the 5th grade students, both from RCMS and NVA, have just experienced Colonial Day on January 23rd, 2025. Colonial Day took place at Ramona Community Campus. Colonial Day was no doubt a very fun and educational experience for all the students, considering it consisted of foods of the time, games, learning different trades. NVA was responsible for making the place to learn trades, while RCMS got to make the food and the games. At the start, the students got to learn about shipping and what different countries had to offer. Some students were asked to be merchants and some were sea captains. After this experience, the students settled down to a more deep lesson. The lesson focus was on the slavery and how cruel and horrible it was. At the end of the lesson, students were given necklaces to help them always remember the importance of the lesson. The next experience was on Colonial Day trades such as the silversmith, brickmaker, and skin trader, and also other ones. Everybody went around to the different unique stands set up to learn and even partially participate in them. Next, the students had a feast, a very big feast. There was all sorts of foods from colonial times such as white leech, gingerbread, apple pie, candied fruit, veggie stew, and also much more. That concludes this newsletter about the greatest 5th grade event, Colonial Day.
What was your play about?
It was called Eternal Night. It was about 2 kingdoms, and they didn't really like their side anymore. They got bored of it, so then they switched. Because it was hard just reading them and not actually seeing them. But when you actually act them out, it changes your entire point of view. I like that when we were writing it, I helped with other writing skills, because it would actually help, like how your voice changes. It's so incredibly different from just reading it to actually doing it.
Thank you for your indulgence. It is hard to show 2 schools and the very special things that they do, so thank you. There's actually a director's cut that's about 14 times longer, but you know, I had to make some choices. So if you'd like to see that, I'll send that to you. But thank you so much. It has been an incredible year, and our teachers and students do amazing things every single day. So thank you.
Yes, they do. Thank you. Would you please send a link to Dr. Thurman and he can distribute it to the board? 100%. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda tonight is item D2, which is the recognition of the 2025 RUSD valedictorians.
Yes. Thank you, President Drum. Mrs. Wilson is joining me here while I read about our valedictorians. So if we could have our 3 valedictorians make your way up here, please, so we can see you while we're reading about you. Come on up. There you go. That's good. Hula, Isabel, and Audie.
You want all 3?
There we go.
You want all
I'm
of them
gonna-
at the same time?
All 3?
Yeah, they can
Yes.
send. Yeah.
All 3.
I'm going to start reading
Yeah. Oh, sorry, student board. Sorry, I mixed it.
Yeah.
Thank you for knowing what to do.
Yeah. Okay, for Montecito High School, we have Hula Kolb with a 3.0 GPA. Congratulations.
Very nice.
Extracurricular activities for Hula include her participating in Skills USA, competing at the state level in 2024 as a member of a Teamworks group, and in 2025 in individual carpentry. Also in 2025, she took first place in California and will compete at the National Skills Conference in June. Congratulations, Hula. She's been a peer tutor at Ramona Elementary and played soccer on Montecito's team. For community service, she's participated in a variety of community service projects through her participation in Montecito's construction classes, such as building benches for local fire stations, helping elementary students build planter boxes, building a shed for the Ramona Chamber of Commerce, and other community-based activities. Hula has done some community service as a member of the Rincon Band of Luiseño Indians as well. After graduation, Hula hopes to pursue a career as a crime scene technician or a biohazard remediation technician. If Hula changes her mind and decides to work in the construction industry, Mr. Jordan has assured her that she would be hired immediately by several of our industry partners who see that Hula is a very, very talented worker. We've seen that firsthand. Despite facing significant personal challenges and falling behind in credits in 9th grade, Hula never gave up on school. Through hard work, perseverance, and an unshakable belief in her future, she not only caught up, but is now leading the class of 2025. Hula came to Montecito at the start of 10th grade, and her journey inspires us all and proves that with grit and heart, anything is possible. So that was from Dr. Marovich, your principal. So Hula, congratulations. All right. Next, I will read about the valedictorian from Mountain Valley Academy. We have Isabella Lynch with a GPA of 4.29. Her extracurricular activities include ASB, yearbook in 10th and 11th grade, Science National Honor Society Club, California Junior Rodeo Association, and the High School Rodeo Association. And also, as you know, being the rodeo queen for 2024. So we saw Isabella in lots of places. Also involved with the Ramona Kiwanis Club, Friends of RUSD Schools, RUSD Schools, student rep for school board, obviously, and an LCAP student rep for 4 years. Plans after high school include going to UC Davis, majoring in neurobiology, physiology, and behavior, and researching in cognitive diseases, as we heard about at MVA, and really in support of her grandmother, I think. So great to see her there as well. Awards and recognitions: 9th grade outstanding student, the 3.6 GPA. 10th and 11th grade outstanding student achievement, 4.0. 9th grade honors history award, 10th grade chemistry award, 11th grade English award, academic all-star award, bronze and silver awards in Girl Scouts, and a Century 21 academic scholarship. So Ms. Sawada's comments include saying she's not sure how Izzy juggles everything that she does. She is graduating this spring as valedictorian with a high school diploma from Mountain Valley Academy and an associate's degree from Palomar College. Izzy is tenacious and a strong critical thinker. She confidently advocates for herself and peers, using her voice to exchange ideas and fight for what she believes in. Congratulations, Izzy. All right. Ramona High School valedictorian. We have Audie O'Neill, who is Orrin's brother. Is that right? Orrin's brother, who played the trumpet. So you can play your instrument after this. So, no, just kidding. GPA of 4.55. Audie's involved in varsity wrestling, third-year varsity wrestler, two-time CIF placer, master qualifier, senior captain, track and field, third-year varsity athlete, CIF 300-meter hurdler, varsity shot put, varsity distance runner, and cross-country 2-year varsity runner. That's a lot of letters. Community service, link crew, new student ambassador, RTL peer counselor, tutor, taught 53 people at RHS how to juggle. Wow. Too bad we don't have something up there you can juggle for us. Career interest, environmental law, planning a career focused on social justice and sustainability. Educational plans, pursuing an undergraduate political science degree at Pomona College, Claremont, and potentially graduate studies at law school. Also, plans after high school, political activism, advocate for environmental protection and mental health services, supports aid for homeless and oppose hostile architecture. Wow. Some of the awards, AP Scholar with Distinction, 2024, Honorary Award for 21 through 24, Quest Bridge finalist, received a bridge scholarship to Mona College totaling $360,000. San Diego High School Sports Association male representative. Mrs. Rodriguez writes that Audie O'Neill is the embodiment of what it means to be a true bulldog. I've had the privilege of knowing Audie since his freshman year, and throughout that time he has consistently demonstrated the core values of our town culture: respect, responsibility, and resilience. Audie approaches his academics with dedication and purpose, maintaining a strong performance in the classroom while also competing at a very high level in athletics. What sets him apart, however, is his ability to balance these demands while still making time to mentor and uplift his peers at RHS. Whether offering support to a struggling classmate or leading by example on and off the field, Audie is a positive force in our school community. He has faced significant life challenges, experiences that could have discouraged or derailed many. But instead, Audie has used those hardships to fuel his growth. His perseverance in the face of adversity is nothing short of inspiring. He continues to show up with integrity, optimism, and an unwavering commitment to becoming the best version of himself. Audie O'Neill is not only a strong student and athlete, but a compassionate leader whose impact at RHS will be felt long after he graduates. He is a young man of character, and I have no doubt he will go on to do remarkable things. Congratulations, Audie. We'd like to have you guys all come up, and the board's going to come around behind you, and we want to get a picture of all of us together. Please come on right up here. You can stand right up here.
Are we staying on this side of the table?
Which side?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Slide this.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys. Yeah. We'll peek out behind you. I know.
We're good?
All right, you guys. Congratulations.
Hula, Izzy, and Audie, thank you for coming tonight, and congratulations. This is quite an accomplishment.
Absolutely. So I had the luxury of being able to see the script as Dr. Thurman was reading, and I do question that juggling thing was listed as community service.
58 people.
Yes, I mean, maybe extracurricular, but you know, whatever. Cute. Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight. Next item on the agenda is item D4, which is a highlight, D3, which is a highlight of the Montecito High School 2025 Skills USA California State Leadership and Skills Conference and recognition of student competitors.
So it's always an honor to stand up here and shine the spotlight on our students. We had 8 students compete at the state this year. Mr. Jordan's program, 1 young lady's not with us tonight, so look at that representation. 4 young ladies in the construction trades and 4 amazing young men. We had a team of 4 that competed as Teamworks. A Teamworks team is a plumber, an electrician, a framer, and a mason that build a structure together, and it's not as easy as it sounds because you have to work together, you have to communicate. That team was led by Liana Yorba, right here, our salutatorian. And on that team was Leonardo Martinez, right here, raise your hand, who is a senior, Caden Jackson, a junior, and senior Erica Esparza. And they took gold in California, so they will be going on to represent us in Atlanta. And then in individual carpentry, we had two young ladies, our valedictorian Hula, who took gold, and senior Devin Vandenberg, who took bronze. And Mr. Jordan, if I'm not mistaken, individual carpentry is a field of over 40 entrants, correct? It's a huge crowd. And on that podium were two young ladies from Montecito. It was outstanding. In electrical construction wiring, we had Eli Lieb. Eli took 4th this year. And last but not least, Paulina Banuelos was our mason, and she took 6th in state this year. So it was an outstanding year for Montecito. I tell people all the time we are small but mighty. We do a lot with a little, and that is really all thanks to Mr. Jordan. He just, as you all know, is outstanding. We are so lucky and so thankful to have him leading our young people and supporting our school and building the family and instilling in these young people hard work and good values that will take them off into their careers and into their lives. And so I'm very thankful to you, Mr. Jordan, and to you guys. You make me look great. I'm very, very proud.
Yes.
And then right here, guys. Hi, guys. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming tonight, and congratulations on your victories. Next item on the agenda is item D4. This is the highlight of Ramona High School's 2025 Skills USA California State Leadership and Skills Conference and recognition of student competitors.
Okay.
For those at home.
Oh. You got Sean behind you with the.
I got him.
Thanks, Faith.
Good evening, school board. Robert Grace, Ramona High School automotive instructor and the Skills USA advisor. I brought some of my team along that competed at our Skills USA State Conference, and Kylie Highland, Parker Hampton, George Meza, Cash Jordison. So I'm going to let them take it over because they prepared this slideshow. Starting with George.
Parker. All right. So this is just a few of us from the Skills USA team. Obviously, for those of you who don't know what the Skills USA team is, we're just a relatively small group of competitors who go out here. We study for competitions throughout the year, and this is just our time to show what we know. And I'm thinking to pass this over to George here.
Yeah, so at our high school, we have it gives the students some great hands-on training and prepares them for real careers. And we had 22 students go to state this year at Ontario, and we had tons of competitions that competed in. They're all listed up there if you want to see them. And yeah.
So here's some brief competition detail for you guys. So for our first competition we did, or I guess this is just them alphabetically, it was AST. That's just pretty much everything automotive. It's called Automotive Service Technology. That's an abbreviation. It's pretty much everything in the car, every system you can think of, brakes, really just tires to roof. Then MST is Motorcycle Service Technology. That's everything motorcycles, as you can assume. Maintenance and light repair just follows some smaller jobs, but still a lot of the brake system. It's a very complex competition as well. HVAC was our first year doing HVAC actually, and we did pretty okay. I'm hoping to do better next year, but I'm sure most of you know what HVAC is. PET is actually our Power Equipment Technology team. It's the more intro level competition, but a lot of our freshmen did really good this year, so we're pretty proud of them. Robotics, Urban Search and Rescue, and Engineering, Technology, and Design are both two, again, complex competitions. Robotics is based on building a robot throughout the year, making sure it's faster and runs better than all other ones. It's a tight competition, and engineering, technology, design's very creative, and it's more of an open-ended competition. Again, all of them have their own merit to them, and they're quite difficult, and we really do have to study for all of them. This is the competition day for a lot of us. That's what it looks like. We're outside. No contact with people outside whatsoever. No phones, nothing. All right, it's just all knowledge from your head, from your heart. You know, just out here showing what we know. Again, a lot of us practiced for this for a long time. A lot of people dedicated their time after school to come in and just work hard, make sure they can get what they need to know into their heads. Pass it over to George here.
Alrighty, so yeah, I just want to say I went as a voting delegate for skills, so I got to experience all of the my entire experience was beyond the competition. So I got to go to all the expos, workshops, meet a lot of new people, and yeah, that was a big part of it for me. I felt like I had one of the best experiences you can have there, and I didn't even compete, so that's pretty fun. Yeah, but even along with that, we had, you know, fun chapter dinners that we went to. We went bowling once, so I mean, just beyond the competition, it was so much fun and just a great experience for everyone.
So these are our results / recognitions. As you can see, 13 out of our 22 that went this year got top 10s, which again is very difficult in some of these competitions. My competition itself had more than 30, 40 kids here, all from all over the state. And then, so me and Stephen Tucker on Parker Hampton, of course, we were the two people to get second place here at competition. Stephen Tucker couldn't make it tonight because he is at League for Swim and Dive, right? League. So it would have been nice to have him here, but of course, sports come first. But yeah. Just really great to have everybody show up and show what they know. You know, all of us put in a lot of good effort here. It's proud. And then I guess again we just want to say thank you. Thank you, of course, the staff and the experience and everybody here at the school board for giving us this opportunity. And we hope to do better next year.
Very nice. Thank you.
Highland competed in maintenance and light repair. That was her second year.
Yeah.
She came out bubbling and beaming, and I'm going, remember this, doesn't matter where you finish. But,
Yeah. So this year during regionals, I didn't place in top 3 at state, but in regionals I took home gold. And then last year when I competed at state, I took home 5th in all of California. My competition this year, there were 2 or 3 other girls in the entire competition, and we had about 30 of us in there. But yeah.
Very nice.
Pretty good.
Well done.
I just want to say that being a voting delegate and like not competing, I got to see everyone's reactions, and by far the most ecstatic reaction out of any competition. I mean, I don't care where she placed, like just feeling great like that, especially on your last year, that's all you can ask for at skills. So yeah.
What they don't know is I was crying during the presentation.
Nice. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Mr. Grace, thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for sharing with us.
These kids are awesome. It's an honor to get to take them out of town and bring out their talents. We'll try it again next year.
And thank you for representing Ramona so highly. Have a great evening. Next item on the agenda is item D5. Tonight, this is going to be a highlight of the Ramona High School Navy Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, the NJROTC program, and the recognition of student competitors.
Instructor, Commander Rick Jordan, and he's an incredible instructor. He's been here for several years. He's up there as our SNSI, U.S. Navy retired. But anyway, we're here to talk to you a bit more about ROTC. Go ahead. All right.
We should use the mic so the recording has everything goes.
Hello.
Thank you.
That works.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
How do I do this? Ah, perfect. So anyway, The mission of Ramona NJROTC, we do not merely prepare people to enter the military. We can always encourage it, yes, but many of our students do not plan to pursue a career in the military. I myself am not doing so, and many of my friends may not either. But our goal in ROTC is to allow students to leave high school with extra preparation to join the workforce or to become productive members of our society. We, in a sense, want to give students the tools in order to better their own lives once they leave high school. In doing so, our Navy code is a cadet will not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. We always want to ensure integrity within our program, and we do so by showing our cadets through actions rather than through words. Our leaders are constantly inspiring, constantly motivating other cadets, and they do so through one-on-one work. They help their cadets constantly, and overall, they are always there to support each other. And it's such a fantastic cadet student-run program. Yeah, that's what I said. But in ROTC, we show a lot of opportunities that are not simply related to military service. When it comes down to it, ROTC is a servant leadership program. We serve the community, or we lead the community through service. You will constantly see us at events throughout town, whether it be putting up flags for our 4th of July celebration or helping out at events such as the fair or as the Taco Fest, which is happening this Saturday. We are always there behind the scenes to help out. We are the Santa's helpers of Ramona, in a sense. ROTC, we do our best to always support the people around us because that is what we are. We are a support group who is there for our community. In a normal week in ROTC, we want to make sure that cadets have a constant influx of new activities. We do not simply retain one basis of information and drill it into their heads constantly. They've got to have something to entertain them, some kind of fun activity, right? So we do drill, we have guest speakers, whether it be from the military or from current active duty. We have uniform inspections, which we're showing off our bling right now. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, we have our physical fitness days, which is part of the reason a lot of kids like ROTC, because we only work out once a week. But we still work out. On Fridays, we typically do academics, which focuses on military knowledge, on basic knowledge. We learn about biology, and I've learned about Pokemon characters in ROTC, I'm just saying. But, hey, our Brain Brawl teams can come up with some interesting questions. But after school is when the hard work in ROTC really begins. Our competitive teams in ROTC have been around for such a long time. It just continues to grow every year. In fact, if you look at one of the screens, you'll see that we have 7 meet teams, which are our field meets, such as our color guard, which you all saw a presentation of earlier, our armed basic drill, which is when we're using our rifles, our unarmed basic drill, our exhibition teams, which consist of a routine where we can either be flipping rifles or doing clappy movements on the drill pad. I don't know how to explain that better. Our academics, our physical fitness teams, and we even have other teams such as our marksmanship, cyber patriot teams, and our newest team, our Raiders Challenge team. This is a lot of the things we've covered in second semester, and in fact, it's not even everything we've done. But if you want to take a look, these are just some of the things that we're helping out with around town, and we will continue to do so for however long we are here. I'll leave it up for a sec. Overall, in ROTC, we have fun. We make sure that it's not simply a hard-working program. While it's true that we're constantly moving, constantly doing something, we want to make sure that our kids are also enjoying their time in the program. So we have Halloween parties, Christmas parties, our military mess nights and balls, our no talent show, our family picnics, our parent appreciation nights, our senior dinner nights, our unit hikes. We're constantly doing something and constantly making sure our cadets are entertained. Also, speaking of our teams, our newest team, our Raiders Challenge team, which focuses on physical fitness, placed second in their first ever event. They did incredible. I think Wyatt out there was on that team. Boop, boop. Overall, Navy ROTC excels. We are over and over again the Navy State champions in marksmanship. Our basic leadership training this year hosted 5 schools with over 100 cadets to teach them the basic ROTC skills. We go to SAIL academies, Devil Pups, Boys and Girls State, which are all leadership programs over the summer to further grow our cadets. We do drone competitions, and we do Raiders challenges, as I mentioned previously, to again stimulate that creative learning and that opportunity-based leadership in our program. This past week alone, we've done color guards on the USS Pinckney for their change of command. We did color guards for the Rialtors Mission Valley. We sailed to the harbor on the Bill of Rights, and we had our 3rd annual talent show, as I mentioned previously. And we're here tonight. Overall, ROTC has a lot of advantages. You will not see another program on this campus that gives out more awards, opportunities, enlistment opportunities, even scholarships like ROTC does. In fact, if you're in ROTC for more than 3 years, 90% of our students are almost guaranteed immediate, promotion to E3 if they join the military, which is great pay raise. Also, thank you for inviting us. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
She talks much better than I would have. Trust me. Thank you for allowing us to come
Very
tonight.
nice. Thank you so much. Wow, very nice.
Commander Jordan, thank you very much for presenting tonight. To the entire NJROTC group, thank you for what you do for this community. It's an honor to have you here presenting the colors for us, and it's truly an honor to have the group throughout this community representing RUSD. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is item D6. This is quite a night. We don't get to do this very as often as we would like to, so this is we are enjoying this. Item D6 is the highlight of the Ramona High School Future Farmers of America State Finals and Field Day and recognition of student competitors. Please come forward and introduce yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Thank you for having us. We're a big group. This is what's normal for us. We travel all over the state in vans, so they're kind of used to going as one big happy family. Curtis Martin, I do the ag mechanics. Then we have Arlene Peck, who's our OH, starting that pathway, and Danielle Upson with both with ag sciences. These are our teams. They've been traveling around since November throughout the state. I am going to pass it on to them of each team that they've did, what they competed in, and how they placed throughout the state. And we have teams, and we also have 2 speaking finalists in the state level for FFA this year.
Good evening. My name is Chase Nickens. I'm part of the small engine team at Ramona High School. So far this year we've had 3 competitions, the first one being Imperial Valley, where I placed first individual and our team placed first overall. After that, we had a contest in Modesto, where our team placed 6th overall, and then recently we had our state finals in Fresno, where our team placed 4th overall, I placed 5th high individual, and my teammate, Andrew Bard, placed 3rd high individual.
Hello everyone, my name is Adrian Heffler. I am part of the Ramona voting team, and I've been to 2 of the competitions we had this year. First one I went to was Fallbrook, and I placed 4th highest individual at that competition, and our team placed 1st overall. And then we had a competition at Modesto. I forgot which one we placed though.
I'm Cash Jorgensen. I'm part of the ag welding team. I went to Modesto Junior College and placed first in individual stick welding.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Weller. I'm on the ag welding team. I went to Modesto College and state welding finals.
My name is Ethan Browning. I went to Fallbrook, Merced, and then Modesto College. I placed first for overall knowledge, and I really enjoy this. I want to thank you all for being here and supporting us. It means a lot to us. We're like one big family.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Madeline Kennedy, and I'm a freshman. This year, I got to compete in creed speaking, and I placed 2nd at region and went on to state finals. And I honestly want to thank you all for all your support. I want to thank our advisors and just all of you that make this possible, because it's an incredible experience.
Hi, I'm Alexa Shinuda, and I would like to piggyback on what Maddie just said. Thank you to everybody, including our advisors, who have helped us every step of the way. I am a sophomore, and I competed in improv too. I placed third in regionals and competed in state. And I also compete on the PES team.
Hi, I'm Thomas Wilson. I'm a sophomore. I would also like to thank you. I also was a part of the Ag PES team.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie Franey. I'm a freshman, and I placed third high individual at state for Ag Pest.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Peck. I am on the agricultural pest control team. As a team, we went to the Fallbrook Field Day, the Modesto Junior College Field Day, and the Fresno State Finals. At the Fallbrook Field Day, I placed third high individual, and at the Fresno State Finals, as a team, we placed sixth, and I placed fifth high individual.
Just again, thank you so much for allowing us to come and speak today, and for all of your support, for allowing, the students to get to show what they can do through travel and everything else.
Yes, we appreciate your support. We know that we didn't make a PowerPoint this evening, but we went with a flyer to kind of be able to share a little bit of what our students do, not just on our traveling state teams, but also our students within the high school, our chapter as well. And like they said, we are a big family. We love to travel together. We have social activities, chapter meetings. We've had over 30 students travel to leadership, state-led leadership conferences this year, several of these students plus many others. And so just something that they're able to do and something that we appreciate that you allow them to do. I don't know if you guys have questions, if now is the time that you would like to ask about any of the contests or anything like that. I don't know if that's available, but if you have contest questions.
I don't think doesn't look like we have any questions, but I would like to plug your tri-tip. I've purchased tri-tip during your fundraiser the last couple of years, and I would encourage everybody in the room to take a hard look at it. It's really, really good. It's fantastic. Thank you all. Thank you to the advisors for what you do for our students. And students, thank you for what you do for our school and the way you represent the organization and the entire community. We're incredibly proud of you, and we're happy you're here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is item D7. This is the highlight of Ramona High School outstanding hurdlers. And let me tell you, this one is for Board Member Summers. He's made this request a few times, and we were finally able to make it happen. So, Dan, thank you for being so persistent in getting them here.
Thanks for their skills for our school.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Hello, Coach Mora, Jeff Mora. A lot of you know me from the CTE program, also the automotive instructor. Got Sterling Bryant and Remy Bryant, brother and sister. Where do I begin? I'm going to say it's been an honor and a privilege to be able to coach these two. I've been coaching Sterling for the last 3 years. This young man is the one that brought me out of retirement to start coaching, and ever since then, he's been nothing but great. We start with last season. He was able to break a 42-year-old school record at Ramona High School. And since then, this season, he has rebroke that record 6 more times, including most recently on April 19th at Mount San Antonio College Invitational, where he broke the record, running a 13.86 in the 110 hurdles. And on the same day, his sister broke the girls' school record, running a 15.45. 2 different invitationals, but same day, and I think that's the first time in Ramona history we had 2 siblings have a record-breaking day, brother and sister. Remy recently, last week, rebroke her record that she broke a few weeks prior, running a 15.06. Then Sterling managed to go to a Triton Invitational and run against college kids at professional height hurdles, 42 inches. And out of 26 college kids he went up against, he placed 3rd. So this gentleman is the real deal. Like I said, it's been a privilege to teach him or to coach him. Sterling is ranked number 1 in Valley and first on the team. He's second in San Diego and third overall in California. And we have a real good chance of taking state. Plan is we're going to go all the way to state. And we have his sister Remy. She is ranked first on the team, first in Valley, 5th in North County, 11th in San Diego. And she too has a slim chance that we might be able to sneak her in for the state championship at the end of the month too. So it would be pretty awesome as a sophomore to be able to accomplish that. Sterling, I said, has been in it for 3 years, and I started coaching Remy last year, and she was reluctant to do hurdles, but when you're a Bryant, you have to hurdle. And then we got our third one sitting there. Emerson Bryant's coming up next, so she trains with us, and she's going to be a freshman next year. So I think we have a little snippet, possibly. I don't know if we're going to be able to play that, to see him in action at one of our recent meets. If not, stay tuned, because you're just going to have to watch this gentleman in person. Yeah, tomorrow we have league finals, Valley Center, and we should sweep. Well, that's light work for him. He's already beat these kids that he's went up against. So he's going to be league champ. She's going to be league champ. So we have 2 league champions, and then we have Divisional 2 championships the following Saturday, which we should advance past that. Like I said, he's got 3-4 more good meets left in him, and hopefully represent Ramona for the state of California and be the state champion out of a small little town, Ramona. Take on all the rest of the hurdlers in the 110 hurdle.
What time in Valley Center?
All right, varsity Bryant way out front. Askew is second there, holding tight. Valley Center in third with Bender.
It's a race for second place.
Then Bryant came in to go Pete at a 13.98 as a PR. He just
That lead that you saw, that has become the new norm, and that was a 13.96. He's since then ran a 13.86. Wow. So, and then Dion Askew's a junior. He's our number 2 boy. So, like I said, the hurdlers are a pretty strong group for the track and field team, and it's just been nothing but an honor to coach both of these siblings. Stay tuned for her in a couple years. She's going to do some great stuff too. So,
what time's the track meet tomorrow?
Tomorrow it starts at 3, but the hurdlers should be going on at Valley Center around 4:50 to 5:08. 4:58 to 5:08 is the 100 110 hurdle, and at 6 o'clock is the 300 hurdles, which he's also ranked number 1 in North County for the 300 hurdle. That one is a very tough event. We got a little bit more fierce competition at that, but he should make it pretty far for the 300 hurdle too.
All right.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it.
Couple of quick questions before you go.
Yes, sir.
Sterling, you are a senior this year?
Yes, I'm a senior.
What are your plans?
I plan to run in junior college for 2 years and then transfer to D1 college.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Remy, what grade are you in?
I'm a sophomore.
Wow. Wow, very impressive. Thank you very much, and we look forward to having you here next year and the following year celebrating your victories.
Thank you.
And maybe even your sister.
Yeah.
Mr. Moore, thank you very much for coming tonight and bringing your hurdlers with you.
Thank all of you. Appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
All right, next item on the agenda is item D8. This is a report from our student board members. Kiana, why don't we start with you and we'll go right down the line.
Good evening, Dr. Thurman and members of the board. Montecito and future-bound students finished state testing this week. During state testing, seniors had a variety of guest speakers. Our senior awards ceremony is happening on Wednesday, May 14th on the lawn in front of Montecito. We expect more than 16 community organizations to present more than 20 scholarships and a lot of awards. Montecito, Future-Bound, and Ramona Adult Schools graduation ceremony is Tuesday, June 3rd at 6 p.m. on the Wilson Field, and we are looking forward to seeing everyone there. Thank you also for the opportunity to represent Montecito as a student representative to the board this year. I have enjoyed the opportunity to serve and share our good news. Thank you.
Izzy.
Hello, board members and Dr. Thurman.
We've been keeping busy on campus as the school year comes to a close with events like the Apex Fun Run, which was campus-wide and put on by the PTSA to raise money for things like playground and outdoor equipment. On the high school side at MVA, we had our annual Seas Candy fundraiser, which helped to raise money for our high school and our end-of-year trip, which we are going to Knott's Berry Farm, so that'll be really fun for us. We've also had a lot of spirit days to show off our school spirit across campus with a K-7 Country Western Spirit Day, an 8th grade Anything But a Backpack Day, which happened today, and a high school Adam Sandler Day and Decades Day. Our younger grades have gone on field trips to places like BizTown, which we saw earlier, the Geological Society, and the Guy B. Woodward Museum, which is a great way for them to learn outside of the classroom. We're also bringing back our talent show, which is happening on Friday for students throughout campus to show off their talents and skills. We had our MVA High School Academic Awards Night on Tuesday, where we got to recognize the amazing students at Mountain Valley Academy who put in so much effort every year, and it was great to see all of their accomplishments. I also want to mention the amazing artists at MVA who have their art featured at the RUSD Student Art Exhibition, and they truly are amazing artists, and I love looking at their work every time. Finally, as we're wrapping up our school year and our applications are still open for the 2025 to 2026 school year. Thank you so much for having me this school year, and yeah, just thank you.
Thank you very much, Izzy. Any questions for Kiana or Izzy so far? Sorry, I should have asked before.
Not yet.
Faith, why don't we go to you?
Hi, good evening. My name is Faith Walsh, and I'm the Student Board Representative from Ramona High School. Thank you to Dr. Thurman, President Perfect, and the RUSD Board and Cabinet for having me here tonight and providing me with the opportunity to represent Ramona High School. Prom was a success for RHS, MHS, and MVA. Almost 500 students participated in the 2025 prom at Wicker West. It was a great time, that's for sure. RHS baseball beat San Diego Academy yesterday to become league champions. They are currently seeded number 2 in Division 4. Both boys and girls swim are co-league champions, and many will be moving on to CIF. Track is currently heading to compete at Valley League Finals Friday, May 9th at Valley Center High School, like Maura said, at 3 o'clock. One of RHS's favorite events of the year is Powder Puff, and the teams have started to practice. This is a flag football game between juniors and seniors on May 30th at 6:30 p.m. at the Bulldog Stadium. AP testing is in full swing. Every day students have arrived early to participate in the testing area. Most students after coming to the test have felt pretty confident. I am myself. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share about Ramona High School. Today and every day is a great day to be a Bulldog.
Thank you so much. Lovely.
So, Faith, Izzy, and Kiana, we have a little token of our appreciation from this governance team to you. We appreciate your participation at our board meetings, and we welcome your input. I hope you felt the value that we place on you and your input to these board meetings and these proceedings. So if you guys want to come up here, we'll just have a couple things for you, and then we'll move on with the rest.
Darren, do you want us out front, or are we too big with the camera in the way?
Let's come out here real quick. We'll move this out of the way. Just take a quick picture. We're sure to appreciate that participation this year. We'll put that camera back.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda is a report from the California School Employees Association, Chapter 733. This is item D9. All right, short report. Next item on the agenda is item D10, which is a report from the Ramona Teachers Association. You'll make up for it, huh?
Oh, she's got the pages spread out. She's not even working from the phone tonight.
Welcome, and thank you for coming.
Thank you. It's that time of year. There's a lot going on. So I will start with some things at Ramona Elementary. Miss Guzman hosted a family U-Fly night and a family CGI math night over at RE, and both were very productive. Her students are making significant progress with both of those programs. In Miss Martinez's class at RE, students voluntarily participate in an art club at recess. It's for those students who particularly love to draw and constantly take pencils and drawing paper outside. And it's a way for the students to have an outlet during school hours. The students have been loving it. Miss Powell's class hatched their own chicks over at RE, and she wants to give a special thanks to Cahoots. They are borrowing the holding tank and lights, making it the best chick experience ever. Sixth graders at RE are working on their Greek Readers Theater performances, which have a fun Gen Z twist. Students are designing props, costumes, and showcasing their speaking and listening skills. Performances are scheduled for the end of the month if you guys would like to attend. MVA Awards ceremony was held this week, with many students receiving academic, leadership, and community awards. Several students also earned local scholarships. The annual RCMS Olympics is underway right now, with 5 classes competing in daily games and sportsmanship challenges. RCC volunteers and staff work together to put on an art gallery type exhibit called The Art Walk for students from TK through 12th grades to show off a favorite piece of art this year. Speaking of art, over 50 pieces of student art from Ramona High School, Mountain Valley Academy, and Olive Pierce Middle School are on exhibit at 2 Create Gallery here in Ramona. The gallery has sponsored an annual exhibit in May for a number of years. The continued support of the district visual arts program by the gallery has made tremendous difference to the art teachers and students alike. You can see the photos on the RHS social media. Mrs. Williams, counselor over at RHS, received an award last week at the Our Community Salutes reception for the class of 2025 military enlistees. She was selected as this year's winner of the General Colin L. Powell Memorial Service Award for San Diego County. It was an amazing experience, and she truly feels honored to have been selected for the award. RHS Dance was approved last year to start their own chapter of National Honors Society for Dance Arts. This year, they actually have 15 seniors being recognized and honored at the dance banquet and graduation for their contribution to dance and academic excellence. Establishing this chapter at Ramona High School is a very important way that we can honor students and help advance the field of dance education. Mrs. Cameron is thankful and excited to continue the growth and rigor of this chapter. RHS Break the Silence Mental Health Awareness Club is having a mental health fair tomorrow during lunch. And yesterday during lunchtime, they did some activities. Mr. Martin challenged, I hear, the RUSD School Board, as well as the San Marcos Unified School Board, to the hashtag USC Speak Your Mind Challenge, which is a mental health awareness campaign that involves taking an ICE challenge and supporting Active Minds, a national nonprofit empowering young adults to seek help. The challenge encourages participation and raises awareness for mental health issues. So just a reminder, you all have 48 hours to respond to that challenge and either film yourself on social media being ice bucket challenged, or feel free to donate to the cause. Mr. Plum and the Fusion students over at RHS worked really hard to put up signs around campus to represent the 3 R's motto of the school. They also trimmed trees and helped with projects to keep Ramona High School safe and beautiful. Then we have band. RHS and OPMS bands will be performing a concert Thursday, May 15th. Mark your calendars at 7 p.m. in the RHS PA. They've been working extremely hard and are excited to finally have a concert this school year. Please join them for an evening of great music. At the end of May, Mount Woodson first and second graders are performing in a Reader's Theater puppet show. They created a big Under the Sea mural featuring their sea creature characters and are learning how to manipulate real puppets. Students are building their reading fluency and learning how to perform in front of a live audience. And last but not least, Hanson Elementary 5th graders are preparing for their Colonial Fair, which will be presented on May 22nd and 23rd. Students are designing activities so visitors can experience what it was like to live in colonial times. There will be booths with games and crafts, as well as a wealth of information prepared by the students from their research. And a big thanks to RCC, which includes RCMS and MBA, for all being here tonight and presenting to you guys all the amazing things happening at their site.
Thank you. Will you please tell Mr. Martin that on behalf of Roger Dome, I accept that challenge?
Yes. You'll be recording it, right?
He will be recording it. All right, next item on the agenda is item D11, which is a presentation on Studer education.
Thank you, President Drum. We have Sarah Maston and Dee Dee are waiting in the wings. I believe they're 3 hours later than us, so we're appreciative of their patience. There they are. Hello, I don't know if you guys can see us.
We sure can. Good evening.
Oh, good, good. Well, we're very grateful for you being here. This presentation and overview of the Educational Excellence Program with Studer Education. Studer is part of Huron Consulting Group. They advise educational institutions of strategic planning, leadership development, workplace culture, and operational impact for the benefit of school districts throughout the country. So we are very privileged to have Sarah and Dee Dee with us tonight to provide an overview. I know Dee Dee is a former customer, I believe, in her district with Studer, and then also works for Studer now. And just welcome, ladies, to the board meeting, and we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you all so much for having us this evening. Really appreciate it. I'll maybe kick us off. Quick introduction, Sarah Maston. I'm the VP of Partnerships here with Studer Education and have the great privilege of having conversations with many districts across the nation, such as yourselves, and getting to connect the dots in the work that you're doing to serve your students every single day, and the work that we do here with Studer Education as partners as well. And as Dr. Thurman alluded, Dr. Deanna Ashby, who's joining us, and I won't steal her thunder any further, has come to us by way of a prior partnership and now serves as a leader coach as well. So Dee Dee.
Thank you, Sarah. It's so good to see you all this evening. It's 10:42 at my house, so I just want you all to know I'm excited to be awake at this time of hour, but we are so glad to be here with you all. I am a retired, repurposed school superintendent and Studer partner, and I love the work so much that joined the team and have been coaching almost 4 years. And so greatly believe in the work that we do and the impact that we have from the boardroom to the classroom. And it was great to meet Dr. Thurman, and look forward to having some conversations with you all.
Great. Thank you, Dee Dee. And Dr. Thurman, it looks like you all have us up on the background over there. I'm happy to do a screen share. I believe you might also have the slide deck. Is the preference that you would run your deck, or would you like me to screen share ours?
Whatever works best with you. Do you see ours?
I can see yours in the background, yes, sir.
Oh, or is it easier? Are you sharing right now?
I'm not, no,
Oh, okay.
but I can certainly do that, and we
if
can
you
see
can
how
see
that.
ours,
I
we
don't
can-
have host privileges to share, actually.
Say that again, Sean. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So we're hearing it's probably better if you guys go ahead and share your screen.
Okay.
If that works.
It currently says that the host doesn't allow for the sharing of the meeting,
Oh.
so.
I think we can fix that. Thanks, you guys.
I hit claim host. I wonder. Nope, I can't do that.
The
Technology is our best friend
green
and our
arrow at the
worst
bottom.
friend sometimes.
You have to be the host and the co-host.
Did we create the link? Oh, and who's the host now? Can we tell? Oh, you know, sorry. Oh, I don't think we can share the host with you because we don't show a host on the options.
But we could fill our screen with the slide deck. We wouldn't be able to see them, but they might see it better.
Oh, yeah. Can you do that, Sean? Okay, we've got a full screen. Can you guys see that?
Yes, sir. And I can just kind of guide through and just
Okay.
ask you to advance. And then I
Perfect.
believe you all have the brief video that we had kind of highlighted together as well. So we can
Yes.
just pivot to that when needed. But
Great, thank you.
so I think that's perfect if someone doesn't mind doing the driving for us a little bit on the other end. So I will jump right in and not use too much of your valuable time, but happy to take as many questions. And I know Dee Dee will kind of continue to chime in as well. So a little bit about the work that we do, kind of kicking us off. We work a lot with school districts across the nation. Generally, we look and we partner with, on average, about 150 at any given point in time throughout any annual school year. And the work looks very different for every school system depending on where they're at. But what we're really looking to do is focus on leadership development in service to building and scaling systems for student outcomes, and really looking to drive performance, to take a district from good to great and just continue to elevate the great things that are taking place. And so that's a lot of what we'll share a little bit about today. And so and thank you for advancing to that slide. So the work that we do in partnership with educational leaders is really to transform those school cultures and enhance those outcomes, both for the students, the educators, and then just really focusing on driving organizational success at the same time. And so by coaching superintendents and the cabinet leaders and other leaders throughout the system, what we're looking to do is apply the data-driven, comprehensive approaches and really helping to foster a continuous improvement model across all levels, from the boardroom through the classroom. And Dee Dee can attest to that a little bit further, I think, here in just a moment as well, in terms of what that looks like. And so our purpose here really is to help you achieve the results that matter the most, because if we haven't accomplished that, then we haven't done our job. And we understand that your teams, much like everyone in that room tonight, dedicated to being there at 8:46 p.m. in the evening, you want to feel deeply connected to a purpose and do meaningful work and make a difference in the lives of those that you're serving, which are your students. And so to support that, we focus on building that great culture and strengthening the people around us and creating inspiring workplaces where individuals can really thrive. And then we will advance forward to the next slide, if you don't mind. And so just a quick brief snippet for you all to kind of take away. We work with several partners throughout the state of California. As I mentioned, on average, about 150 across the nation. But we are very honored to serve several partners in the state of California that are deeply committed to this work every single day. And those are just a couple of them that are represented there on the slide. And we're very grateful to say that you can call on our partners as references in the work that we do as well. We pride ourselves on being able to do that. And we'll go ahead and advance to the next slide. And as Dr. Thurman suggested earlier, we do a lot of work around continuous improvement and really focusing in on systems alignment and thinking. So this slide, if I had to pick any one of 5 slides, this is probably one of those 5 slides that I typically think really helps to outline a lot of our work. So there's a quote actually out there: 85% of an organization's failure is rooted in broken systems and processes that are used to do the work, not the people themselves. And when I see this slide, I think a lot about those that are serving in our school systems. We're doing it, we're serving the students. No one's in the business of education, I jokingly say, to get rich. Generally speaking, that's not why we get into education, but it is to make a difference in the lives of the students that we're serving. And we're all acting with the best of intentions, but oftentimes what's happening is that even though our intentions are pure in the work that we're doing, we are competing with one another and pulling ourselves in different directions. And the work that we do here at Student Education in collaboration with our partnerships through evidence-based leadership framework, the 9 principles framework, and research studied practices that we implement with our partnerships is to help create an aligned system, identify those bright spots and the things that are working, and perhaps the things that aren't working as well and aren't getting us to the goals that we have established as an organization, if I can spit that word out. It's also 10:49 my time too, jokingly. So we're really focusing in on that, and the work that we do then starts to pull us towards alignment. We're breaking down those silos, and we're all speaking the same language. We've identified the things that matter, the measures that matter as we refer to them, which is one of the 9 principles, and we start to focus more of our time and efforts and attention on that. And so the work that we do in collaboration with school systems allows us to build those improvement models around your people while developing them, and help us to identify those winning moves that are going to help us achieve our goals and get to where we're looking to get. Dee Dee, anything you want to add so far too?
No, I think you're doing great.
All right. And so I'd like to just do maybe 2 more slides, or I'm going to hit on the 9 principles, Dr. Thurman, and then perhaps we can give just a brief overview from the lens of a district partner that's made great strides in the work that we've done with Estacada, Oregon, and Ryan Carpenter, the superintendent there. But the 9 principles framework is the model it's the guiding principles for the improvement work for really any organization that we believe intends to be excellent. So these principles set the behaviors and the expectations for organizations to create and sustain a culture of excellence where individuals choose to work and choose to achieve at high levels. And as we partner with your district, what we're doing is we're making choices together about the leadership competencies that we're developing and the tactics that we're using together based on the challenges that you're looking to overcome. So I like to call it just in time. The 9 principles are not designed necessarily to go through and say, we're coming in and we're offering a professional development series 1 through 9. Rather, we're aligning to you all real time and the things that you're facing and the needs that you have as leaders in your organization. And how do we grow you as individuals to help us get there? How do we grow you to continue to remove those barriers to the long-term sustained success that you're really looking to achieve? And then let's go ahead and we'll advance to just the aligned goals, behaviors, and processes. So this is our evidence-based leadership framework. These are applied, the 9 principles I just shared with you are kind of applied across the evidence-based leadership framework with all of the strategies and tactics that align within that. It helps to pull the goals of your system together. And so what we're looking at here with your aligned goals, aligned behaviors, aligned processes, what we have come to learn in the years of partnering with school systems and just being having great educators as a part of our organization, such as Dee Dee and our other coaches, is that often what we are doing is we have identified these things, much like with the arrows, right? We've identified these things that are going to help us to achieve the outcomes that we're looking for, to advance student outcomes and support them in every facet of their work that they're doing. And often where that lands us is over in that processes, the breakthrough section. We're implementing things, we're doing things, we're purchasing a new professional development even. But what we're not always doing is aligning everything underneath that in order to ensure that what we're doing over on the right-hand side of the evidence-based leadership framework is in fact what's going to get us there. So if we're not focusing in on that alignment of the goals and the behaviors of our people in service to those goals before we get to those processes, we're missing some really crucial steps within it as well. And so what we're doing is taking those things and really working with you all and focusing in on those measures that matter, taking it through and understanding how are we developing our people around those always actions and behaviors, and ensuring that we have 100% of our people doing these things 97% of the time or better, and we are talking the same language, we're after the same things, and it helps us to pull together and we all understand the why in the work that we're doing as well. So it helps to connect the dots, and when we talk about then from the boardroom to the classroom, the people, your teachers in the classroom, your principals serving the teachers and the students there, you all as board members and as a superintendent and everyone in between, we connect the dots in the work that we're doing and the impact that that makes on the district's board goals and priorities. Dee Dee, I'm going to pause here and see if you have anything that you'd like to add in terms of the evidence-based leadership framework or 9 principles as well.
I would just chime in that when I was a superintendent, and it was early in my tenure as a superintendent, we knew that in our district in Kentucky, we were about 65,000 students, that we were a really good district, but there were a lot of pieces that were missing. We did not have aligned strategic priorities that we had established with our Board of Education and our district and school leadership. We did not have a mechanism in place to really hear feedback from our parents, our certified and classified staff, and our students. And so with StuderEd, they came alongside us with our coach, similar just to what I do, and worked with the superintendent and the school and district leaders. But it started with the Board of Education to really identify strategic priorities for a 3 to 5 year strategic plan and working with focus groups. And it started with the board. We worked through all of that process, and then we brought it back to the board at the end for that final approval. And then that really guided our work through the evidence-based leadership program. We used the surveys that I described to really help us to have authentic feedback that drove action to impact. We also worked with leaders through leadership development and the 9 principles that Sarah has so eloquently outlined for you. And we worked along with the superintendent or his or her core team to have executive coaching. And that was really the accountability piece for myself as a leader. And I had a great coach, and that's why I love the work and wanted to really continue in that arena to really help other districts to move action to impact forward, to build those great community partners and to really do what's best for the kids and create that outstanding culture and strategies to help us be the best that we could be.
Thank you, Dee Dee. And Dr. Thurman and team, I think just to prevent us from bouncing from the current slide deck to video, I think maybe perhaps if okay with you, I'll go ahead and just finish out with a couple of areas around the strategic planning process, which might be a really healthy early entry point in the partnership together to help start establishing some of those things and the priorities, such as what Dee Dee just outlined. And then kind of wrap it up with that story to be told from the words of one of our current district partners in Estacada, Oregon, if that works for you.
Yes, sounds good. Thank you very much, Sarah. Can I just make a pause real quick? If any board members have any questions at this point of anything you've seen? It's a good time to ask if there's any questions.
Just if we can get the slide back.
Oh, yes, we have that. Okay, Sarah, thank you. We're good.
Yeah, no problem. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me along the way. I'm happy to field those at any point. So thank you. All right, so leading into the next slide, which overviews just a really high-level three-phase approach to the strategic planning process. Obviously, there's a lot more that will go into it than just these three, the very brief description provided on the next three slides, but we really like to think of the strategic planning process in these three phases. And if we could go ahead and advance to the next one, which will take us to the phase one. We really come in at any point in our work, whether we're beginning with a strategic planning process or entering anywhere else, because we really try to meet you where you are as a district and what your current needs and priorities are. So whether that is a strategic plan or otherwise, that environmental scan process is still going to be something that we are going to embody and encompass with you. And what we're doing is we're taking a look at your district to understand where are you at, where's all of your data, what have you currently done to date, and really taking a look and trying to entrench ourselves in becoming a part of Ramona Unified as best as we can. And what we're going to do in terms of the strategic planning process is begin to build that out, understand, analyze the data. Dee Dee just referenced some of the survey work that we do. Many of our district partners utilize our surveys. They might also have some of their own and use a combination of anything in between. And so we'll prepare surveys aligned to the strategic planning process or otherwise, and we're going to launch those and help to understand and digest that a little bit. We'll also work with you all on formulating the strategic planning steering committee, if I could spit those words out, and helping to provide some recommendations and guidance on what those members might be doing in the body of the work together. And then doing some deep listening through focus groups or town halls in the format that makes the most sense for you all. What we're doing throughout that process, though, is really doing some deep listening and understanding of what are the priorities for your district, for your stakeholders, and everybody within, and taking that information and digesting it and sharing it back out with you all in a way that allows us to make informed decisions about where we're going to go next in the second phase of our work as well together. So this just helps us to really lay that foundation of how are we customizing that strategic planning process and creating an implementation timeline and speaking to the needs of you all as a district and as a community. And then if we look into just the phase two, as we begin to harness that data and really take it in, we're analyzing it, we're taking a look at the surveys, the focus groups, and we're sharing back those findings to you all as a district, and then collaborating with that steering committee to really update or develop, if you're looking to redevelop and refresh the mission, vision, core values, and the statements that are really based on that community and stakeholder input at that time. So through those facilitated work sessions, we're really helping the committee to define those draft goals, the metrics, the strategic initiatives, and then we're going to support with the stakeholder engagement by really supporting and sharing those draft components and creating that feedback loop through additional forums or online surveys to help them inform revisions that potentially need to be made. So all the while, what we're doing is we're working through gathering the data, harnessing that, sharing it, and working through what does that data mean to us and to you all as a district community, and then crafting those in ways that help us to establish those pillars and those goal areas that you're going to set forth for the next 3 to 5 years, or the timeline that makes the most sense to you all. And then as we look to phase 3, and let me just go back to what I said earlier, very oversimplified process, and Dee Dee here in a moment, I'd love to hear from you in terms of what this looks like, feels like for you in your work every day as well. But as we look to phase 3 with the adopt and publicize, we're going to support the steering committee and just really focusing in on finalizing that strategic plan. We're going to recommend some changes based off of the community engagement results as needed, and if needed, of course. And so really making sure that it's in alignment with what it is that we're hearing, and then sharing that back out to ensure that it is in fact what we're hearing and that we're hitting the mark in that way. And we're going to coach the committee on how to present that proposed plan back out to you all. And so we're really building their leadership capacity at the same time that we're going through this strategic planning process. And I think that's one of the things that's very unique to the work that we do, is the way that we're going to support and develop teams around this in service to the strategic plan, in service to your goals that will come out of it as well in the end. So Dee Dee, I'm going to pause here and let you maybe add some color in terms of what it looks like, sounds like, feels like from your lens.
So there are many times that we as boards and superintendents make plans, and it can be a folder that sits on our desktop or a file that lays on our desk. The difference with us at Studer Ed is that once we have developed that strategic plan and priorities with the Board of Education and that's been approved, then we go immediately into the work of developing a scorecard, which is very similar to a scoreboard in a ball game, where we are making sure that we come alongside the superintendent and district leadership to make sure that we have a mechanism in place to implement those priorities that the board has established. And then we have check-ins 30, 90 days with the district and with school leaders to cascade that again from the boardroom to the classroom to making sure we're having that impact. We really are very intentional to make sure that the strategic priorities stay in front of the board, in front of district leadership to move the district forward. And that's where we see that transformation from being a really good district to a great district. And that's why I fell in love with the work and why we did it in my school district in Kentucky. And they're still following many of those same things that we established. Through that also emerged a mission statement and tagline that they still use today. Prior to that, nobody could even tell you what our mission was. We had one, but it was just very outdated. So as you can see, I get really excited about this work. So I'm sure you all are ready to jump into the video, perhaps, and hear from one of our partners.
Great segue, Dee Dee. Dr. Thurman and team, I believe you might have that link, but if, there we go.
Yeah.
And while that's queuing up, I think for the good of the group in the room, the video that will be shared is Superintendent Ryan Carpenter. He's a superintendent, and he'll of course give you an overview in the video as well. But he leads the Estacada School District in Oregon, and they've done some really amazing things in terms of improving their district. They were a district that was the students and their families were going elsewhere, we'll say that, and they were not getting the best of news titles and reports from those around them. So, but they've done some really incredible things and work in partnership with Studer Education. So I'll be quiet now because I see it's queued up.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and start with our mission, vision, and values.
My name is Ryan Carpenter, and I'm the superintendent for the Estacada School District. This is my 4th year serving as superintendent and my 14th year as an educator inside this great school district and community. The Estacada School District, before we started our continuous improvement journey, was really like every other traditional school district in America. Each of our buildings were in planets, all doing their own things, and the district office and leaders were really just great managers, not necessarily leaders. Each building was its own planetary system, doing their own beliefs and systems, and the one thing they all had in common was they hated the district office. And so, like every school district, culture was a major barrier for our ability to align and improve student outcomes. It was after really having the opportunity to educate ourselves on some early improvement science work by Tony Reich, by Peter Senge, ultimately allowed us to open the door to seek new things like Studer Education and the great work that Quinn Studer was doing in the medical field, some other great pioneer school districts like Menominee Falls in Wisconsin that led us to Studer Education and for us to just begin to do our baby steps in implementing improvement science, evidence-based leadership methodology. Kathy Orapollo is our Studer Education leader coach. Kathy Orapollo has been with us in all 4 years of our journey, from day one to where we're at today. Kathy Orapollo, to me as the superintendent, is my secret lifeline. She's my red phone. Anytime I feel like I'm stuck or I'm in a situation that requires external support, Kathy Orapollo is my phone call to help unstick me as a leader. Leaders need great coaches.
So Ryan Carpenter is a leader who believes leaders go first. And one of the things he did right out of the gate was he modeled what he wanted everybody to learn. And as a result of that, he brought several leaders along feeling more like they were learning side by side than it was a mandate or something that had to be executed for a reason. And as a result of that, they practiced together, they learned together, and it strengthened the system in a way that it almost accelerated the growth.
We are in our 4th year of evidence-based leadership work. We have been able to experience the true joy and pure successes of seeing student outcomes increase, seeing employee retention just continue to be stable, allowing us to build deeper relationships with our students and our community. We're seeing increase in employee attendance coming to work each and every single day. We're seeing increases in parent satisfaction, student engagement, and employee engagement, and all of that is because of an aligned commitment to focus on people first, our culture, and making sure that we're utilizing data to make sound decisions as we tackle complex problems together. Does that mean that we have solved all of our complex problems? The answer to that is no. Each and every day, we are still faced with the same challenges and new challenges and things that we cannot even continue to predict as we tackle public education post-COVID pandemic. But I can tell you that the fact that we've been able to align our district as one team, working towards one goal, and that's serving its community, using evidence-based leadership, its tools and tactics, have truly allowed us to take on some of the most complex challenges that people are all experiencing across the United States, and we've been able to be agile and extremely responsive, one short cycle at a time. So aside from just working with me as the superintendent one-on-one, I have empowered Kathy to continue to work alongside our building principals and our district office leaders. As we scale this continuous improvement work throughout the system, it's important to continue to build efficacy and confidence of the people who we're empowering to make these decisions and to collect this data and to help us as a team collectively move in certain directions based on what the voice and what the data is telling us to do. It's extremely difficult as the superintendent to be in every single corner of every single aspect of an entire organization. And so I think it's been a tremendous benefit to be able to have Kathy Orapollo, our Studer coach, to support each and every leader through their own processes and progressions of this in a very non-threatening way, because we're all in different spaces when it comes to our implementation of this leadership, and our ability to reach out for help when we get stuck is critical as we continue to lead this movement inside our district. We've had so many wins throughout the entire process of this journey. From year one, our wins were amazing, and all the way out to year 4, we just continue to daily receive small rewards for the work that we're doing, along with big rewards. As we've begun to mature as an evidence-based leadership school district, one of my most favorite things always to watch is watching our leaders, our teachers, and our students share with others what this experience is like and how this works for them inside their classroom, inside their binder, and inside our scorecards. Every time I get the opportunity to watch other people inside our organization share their story of this work is always so cool to me, and it leaves a huge smile on my face, because what I see is empowerment, I see confidence, and I see people who are really trying to make a leadership difference inside our organization. And I'm so blessed to be surrounded by leaders who have natural talent and whom we've cultivated together as a team and as a system. And to watch this thrive on its own has been the greatest win of it all.
All right. Thank you, and I hope I'm sure your audio hopefully was playing okay. I know different connectivity in terms of where we're at and for you all. So, but I think perhaps now I'd love to open it up and any Q&A or conversation that you all are maybe have top of mind, what's percolating in your minds, and I think Dee Dee and I are at your mercy this evening.
Yes, thank you. Board, any questions, anything from Cabinet? Mrs. Wilson and some of our staff have attended some of these, the programs where they bring districts from all around the country to hear from student participants, and we've been fortunate to hear from a lot of those schools. I think I appreciate you guys helping set up lunch for our team with Ryan and his one of his team members, and got to hear about their changes firsthand. Any ideas or questions?
Looks like Roger's queued up.
I always have questions
Yeah.
around these kind of subjects. So, I mean, it's very clear to me that when everyone in the organization is moving together on a common goal, you're going to achieve greater results. There's no doubt about that. So I see what you're presenting. I think the questions that this board probably has is, what does buy-in look like? What does phase one look like with buy-in? Like, how many are actually participating in phase one that are really committed and really all in? What does phase two look like? What's the percentage of that? And phase three, and then once you get through all those phases, how do you, maybe this is a really bad word, but you know, I watch Star Trek. How do you assimilate all the others to be all in? Because it takes everyone to be on the ship. So that's what I'm just kind of concerned about, because we haven't done this process. However, we have goals, but I guarantee you I could go around through the school district and randomly pop in and ask any staff member, what are our goals? And they're not going to be able to recite them, right? So reciting them isn't as important as actually the action of them, right? So I don't know, that's a lot of questions all at once, but I think I'm getting to really about, you know, how does that look and how does everybody buy into it?
It's best to answer those questions.
Sarah,
staff? Okay.
Sarah and Dee Dee, yeah, did you guys hear the question about phase one, phase two, phase three, and what that looks like? I know that some of the materials reference the cascading impact and what that looks like, and I appreciated Dee Dee talking about the scorecard development. Ultimately, I think that's after phase three, when you've sort of got those principles established and can start the measuring and those things. But board member Dome's question was, how many people does it start with in phase one and then extend to in phase two and phase three?
And then I have more questions after you answer that.
Okay.
Oh, and Dee Dee, I might have you might field that one. So, and I think I heard, you know, how do we support creating buy-in? How do we rally the troops around the work that's actually to be done, both during the strategic planning, but Dr. Thurman, you hit it, right? Then what comes after those first three phases of just the strategic planning, which is really just phase one of a larger body of work that we might get into together anyway. So Dee Dee, I think that's perfect for you because you've both done it as a district leader as well as guiding other districts. That this is a question we get all the time, so it's a very fair question and a very fair thought to have. So Dee Dee, and you're on mute, Dee Dee.
Thank you. Yeah, so great question. So that's where Sarah talked about that the work's not cookie cutter. So we work with the district, with the superintendent especially, and the board to determine what is the best way to gain the feedback from the people that we serve. And we many times create focus groups, and we have a focus group with students, focus group with parents, focus group with certified and then also classified community leaders, business partners. There are some instances where a district wants to hold community forums, And so we've even had a couple of coaches that have gone to ball games and set up a table and just sat there through the game and listened. So it's whatever it takes to get the job done to make sure that we're really getting to the grassroots of the organization and of the community and what's important to them. We are very strategic in the way that we design our questions and working alongside the board and the superintendent to make sure that we ask some targeted questions of all the group to get to the information that's going to be the most helpful to move our district forward. From that, we then develop a steering committee and work again with the superintendent as to who the important voices that need to be on that committee. And we sort through all of the information that we've gathered. We also will conduct a student and then a parent and certified classified employee experience surveys to establish a baseline for us so that way everyone has an opportunity to participate in the survey system, and that gives us some really authentic feedback. And we use all of that information compiled with the information from the focus groups or community forums, and we start to sort through it. And once we get to a point where we feel like we have a solid draft of what the strategic priorities would be and the actions that would go along with those, the value words that are really important to the district, then we can do, and this is up to the district, one additional survey, which is called the Strategic Plan Survey, and it is customized based on the feedback that we have collected. That gives one final opportunity, and we put it on the website of your all's organization for anybody to complete that. And we usually run that survey about 5 days. So any parent, any grandparent, any community member, because we want everyone to feel like that they have the opportunity to weigh in on those priorities. From there, we come back to the steering committee and finalize a draft, bring that to the board in a working session. We also usually at that point go back to the administrators and district leaders one more time just to make sure that we vet that thoroughly, make sure that the things that we are identifying are actionable and things that they can carry out and feel good about. And then from there, we finalize it based on whatever changes that the Board of Education would make, and then it comes to you all for final approval. So I hope, Dr. Thurman, that answers the question. And usually through all that process, we are gaining buy-in with every conversation, with every focus group, with every survey that we conduct, because it's a process along the way where we're really getting to the authentic feedback that we need to hear.
Thank you, Dr. Dede. I appreciate that. It sounds like when you're getting the buy-in of all the groups, that then there's motivation to, when you're getting buy-in and authentically using that and reflecting that in the plan, it's developing buy-in across the organization.
Right.
Yeah.
Brian, I mean, I understand the process to find commonalities and move people that can be together on their goals, or at least finding out what motivates people and getting people together. But that's not really the question that I asked. The question that I'm asking is, what does it look like when you have buy-in, and what's the percentage of the staff? Because right now we have to work on staff. And what does it look like in phase one? What's the percentage typically? I mean, you're working with a lot of districts, so.
You're talking about percentage of the total staff?
Yeah, and what's the percentage of the staff in phase two? What's the percentage of the staff in phase three? What does that look like? I want to be able to have a clear picture visually in my mind what this is looking like, and how that leadership model that you're providing for us,
I see.
You know, I want to know what it is.
I
don't
see.
understand.
And I think too, what you're asking goes beyond the phases of the strategic plan. So I'll backtrack just a little bit. The the three phases that we represented are really those are the three phases of the strategic plan, and to kind of get us started. As we look forward beyond the strategic planning, right, we're doing the strategic plan and we're setting the stage for the work of the continuous improvement model and the deep development work that we'll be doing in collaboration with you all as a district. And I think what I'm hearing you're asking is that as we get into that and we begin this phase of the work, how many people are going to be involved in that developmental work and doing the deep, meaningful things? And then as you then start to cascade that down, how many more are folded in, and at what pace does that kind of look like? Am I picking that up?
Yeah, it helps me to kind of understand your strategic plan, your three phases. What does that actually do? What results do we have in buy-in? That's what I want to know. And then what they're going to do once they're bought in is another thing. But what does it actually look like? Because you're showing on the screen. I'm not trying to be devil's advocate. I'm trying to clearly understand what this is. When I look at the 9 steps, I clearly understand what that is when I read that. But when you talk about like results and what does this look like? How does it change our culture? How do we still remain a Ramona family and adopt all of this? How do we have our own character in Ramona and still are able to come together with common goals and be able to all be unified in the direction that we're going? I just want to know that I know it sounds simple to me, but maybe I'm saying it in a way that is not how you normally hear it. I don't know. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with maybe the last bit that you said there, almost maintaining your identity and coming out of this in a direction that's positive and forward moving with your people at the same time. So we're building that momentum, and we remain Ramona, and we continue to have a common goal and things that we're marching towards. And I think the simple, maybe the oversimplified answer to that is that we really do, and Dee Dee can attest to this, we try very hard to insert into the work that you're currently doing and not disrupt the current processes and systems, but rather understand alongside you which processes and systems are currently working and which of those we might need to work around. And so as we get into the development and we start to, think about those 9 principles that you just touched on, we start to think about the goals that you are marching towards, and we're aligning the behaviors around the developing our leaders in service to those goals, or the common goal that you all have, right? And what we're doing is starting to identify those things that you are already doing that are working, and not disrupting those, but potentially highlighting that as a bright spot. And how do we now create a system of that throughout the organization and hardwire that as a best practice? And that's really the crux of what we do, is we work with you on identifying what works and what isn't, and developing your people around those things and pulling them in along the way. And so I think, when we think about being able to maintain a sense of your identity and self and belonging within Ramona, really what we're doing. So we've Dr. Thurman referenced the scorecard, and a scorecard is a method by which we start to look at what your strategic goals from your strategic planning, and now we're going to look at those on an annualized basis and do some frequent checks and balances throughout the year as well. And so we're developing that. And as you start to cascade that over time, getting to who's involved in when and at what level, right? As you start to cascade that over time, you have a scorecard at the district level office. Different departments have it, different schools have it. And what's really cool is that everyone begins to see their connectedness and the why and the goals that you all have set forth as a district and a goal board as well. And Dee Dee, I see you came off mute, so I'm sure you have something profound to add that's better than what I just said.
No, I think you said it really well. I would say that in most every strategic plan that I've seen, there is there is a people piece, and it may be called different things, but it's about our staff. It's about every bus driver, every food service worker, every classified employee, every teacher, every principal, and the importance of them and the feedback that we receive from them through the survey and through the focus groups. And then we also come alongside and help provide professional learning to really develop a culture of gratitude, where we work with administrators to re-recruit and retain the very best employees. And we do that through the professional learning that we provide based on the 9 principles and from that feedback that we're receiving from our staff members and from our parents. And that's what helps to really get the flywheel moving, where we are continuing to improve every time. And then those scorecards and the surveys are our metric to measure that year after year. So that's where we really get them involved through authentic feedback, letting them know that we are hearing what their concerns are and that we're trying to create the best workforce, best workplace environment for them, where they always want to be Ramona and always want to do the very best that they can, not only for our kids, and then that bleeds over into our community. So a lot of pride and tradition. We use tools such as rounding, where we have those conversations, follow up and follow through from the things that they share with us, and we do very similar things with our parents. So I hope that maybe helps a little bit with the communication piece and what you're hitting at.
If I may just kind of restate everything you said so you can see if I have clear understanding of what you're offering. So it sounds to me like what you're saying is Ramona has all these different systems, but they're not necessarily all moving in the same direction. So you're going to be providing a strategic plan, or as you had already said, is a system, so that we can get all of our systems to move in the same direction, because that's kind of something that you said. So I'm not really sure, is that what you're providing? And then you're going to have a continual improvement model so that everybody's constantly improving along the way. I guess I'm just not really sure what you're offering. It's unclear to me. I'm not saying it isn't going to work, but I don't really know what it is.
Yeah, so I think that perhaps there's two.
Can you just say
work in what we do?
Can you just say in a nutshell, like, what is this service that you're selling to us? What is it going to do for Ramona, and what is it? Just like in a couple sentences, so that I have a clear picture what you're actually offering. I think it would help us all to know. Like, are you coming to improve all of our test scores? I mean, what is the ultimate service that you're providing?
So we are an organization that focuses on leadership development and continuous improvement. And to say that we're coming to improve all of your test scores would certainly be a goal that we would always want to have in any district. But I think that would be an unfair statement, because what we're doing is coming in to support you in your board goals and priorities. Mm-hmm. And so working with you on what do those look like, what are you trying to accomplish, what things will in the work that you're doing every day, what is it that you're attesting will take you to the next level of being an incredible and a great district. And those are the things that we work with you all and the rest of your leadership in the organization to help to then accomplish. So yes, many of our districts, Menominee Falls as an example, is a district that Ryan Carpenter referenced in his video that we showed just a moment ago, who went from a district where families were people within the district were saying, don't send your kids here. People from the public community were saying, don't send your kids here, to then entering into the partnership and doing deep, meaningful, continuous improvement work, turning that around, improving their AP outcomes, their graduation rates, their student performance data, and becoming a district of choice, and nominated in People Magazine or Time Magazine multiple times. So it depends on the goals and the priorities of you all as a board and as a district organization.
It is process
I think I get it
improvement
now.
with systems. It's a balanced scorecard. We have some districts that I work with that have closed their educational gaps and have maintained that consistently for several years. We have other districts that have a priority of more service excellence in their operations areas where they have aligned their systems to reduce waste and cut costs. So it really depends on what the priorities are of the board that we come alongside you to try to holistically help you move your district forward in the goals that you have set through a monitoring system and process improvement.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I have a better understanding now. So you're like consultants coming in essentially to target specific areas that we're asking you to improve those areas, but through a leadership model. I get it.
Yeah, and we have Mrs. Wilson, our assistant superintendent of ed services, who's has a very better historical perspective of Ramona, being a coordinator and assistant soup and a lot of that history. Leslie, do you want to sort of provide your perspective from what you saw?
Sure. I didn't know anything about Studer before I went to the conference. I didn't have a presentation or anything like that. And the best way I can kind of explain what I saw was it's not cookie cutter. It's really based on what our district needs. And what's so different, and it's something that's never been done here before and in a lot of districts, we always focus on education and the classroom and the teachers 100% of the time. But our systems can't be hardwired across our district unless everybody's on the same page. And we have a lot of great systems in Ramona Unified, but we also have a lot of broken systems, or where our cogs are spinning this way, and they're not making a very efficient workflow for us. And so what I gathered by going to the conference is that through the surveys and through some of this work, and depending on where we want to start, you can start with a strategic plan. You don't have to start with a strategic plan. You can start, there are lots of different entry points depending on what we decide if we choose to go with Studer, where we can come in at. But it's not just about the classroom. In fact, the Data, I always butcher their district. I asked him, how many years did it take before you hit the classroom? It was year 3 or 4 before it hit the classroom. And so I think that's really important to know, that this is a long game. It's not a short game. If this is something we're doing, it really is. What I gathered, and they may tell me I'm wrong, when we were there, it starts with your leadership team, and you're building capacity in your leadership team. The professional development at the conference was some of the best coaching I've ever received, ever. And I am a hard sell on professional development, right? So there are lots of great opportunities for our leaders, and then from there they become efficient, effective leaders that know how to communicate, that know how to keep highly motivated employees who maybe are coming to work next to somebody who's not highly motivated. Do you know what that does to a highly motivated employee? Makes them not want to come to work either, right? So there's all of these coaching conversations that they have with leaders on how do you encourage these highly motivated, and how do you get these people that don't have the will to have the will. So it's really building leadership first. Just that's the gist that I got. If we're talking like a phase 1 of, first it's your alt team, right? And then you go to your school sites and your departments, and then you go to your school sites after that, and then you get to the classrooms. But it takes time before you get to the classrooms, from what we saw in the different presentations and all of that. And so if we're thinking about it, and we're not thinking about it, it's more of a long game, then we're not understanding it enough. It's not a quick fix. It's something that's going to take, and it's going to take your leadership team. It's going to build capacity so that they can lead, and that in the process, while they're learning how to lead, they are helping hardwiring the systems correctly, so that everything is working in concert with one another. That's not 2 sentences, but it's as concise as I could get.
No, I appreciate it, because you just told the why, and now they're explaining all the nuts and bolts, like here's the survey, here's all these steps in the phases we're going to be doing. And that part in the beginning wasn't really explained. Okay.
Don?
services. It's a really big price tag. And I know we're not talking price right now, but it's a big price tag for something that sounds a little like I haven't been convinced to drink Kool-Aid yet. I don't quite understand what it is. I'm trying, and I know we have a book. I see it over there with
Right.
Maya, and I haven't dug in on that. Maybe that'll provide some clarity. I
Yeah.
do feel like people who have attended whatever this conference is must have been so impressed, because the presentation tonight is pretty dry and not very tangible for me. And that's just me. Maybe I'm, not in the right mindset tonight.
Long day, who knows?
Everything's going on, I don't know. So I guess I just need to take some time to understand better.
And I would encourage you to review this meeting and then make an appointment, maybe one or two at a time, with Dr. Thurman and Leslie, and see if we can provide if they can provide clarity.
Right. Like
Yeah.
just in my notes, it's, I'm hearing, we have a lot of systems, but they're not aligned. Okay, well, I would like to know, and this,
What are
I don't
they?
want to give work to people, right?
Right.
But, okay, exactly what systems are you talking about? I've been here a long time. I've seen a lot of trending and different thinking come and go. Sometimes with the big price tag, sometimes not. So I kind of like to see how this is different than all the many other things we've done. So what are the systems we have right now specifically that need to be aligned? What districts can we visit in person who are several years down this journey to show me where they started, what they did, and what their results are? And I realize it's different from district to district. I'm hearing customized, personalized, specific to each area. That's fine, but I just like to see where they were, what they did, and where they ended up, and was that where they were trying to go? Because right now I don't really know where we're trying to go with this. And then the catch phrases that we hear. Oh, well, we need to build capacity in alt. Okay, build capacity. Let's drill down. What exactly are we expecting from alt? What is that capacity that we're looking to increase or improve? It just needs to be more tangible for me.
You're saying, what would the end results look like?
Yeah, I want to know, okay,
Yeah.
so, and I'm hearing, oh, well, it's a process. Okay, I don't want to throw a big check down on a process that we don't know where we're trying to get in the end, right? I need to know what we're really trying to do. What are those measurable outcomes, right? Before we throw money into
Or
it.
maybe there's some examples that have
Yeah.
clear measurable results.
Absolutely.
And then we can see it took this long, and these are all the steps along
Right.
the way to,
Need-
and then
just needs to be a
then it
lot
ended
more
up
concrete.
resulting in this. It would just be helpful to know, because
Yeah.
I know that you've explained it to us, but I really didn't. Even when you were explaining to us, I didn't understand what it was. That's why I was asking all these questions. I clearly now get what it is, and I'm like, if we need that kind of support, if you really feel that we need that, then I think it just needs to be clear to every board member exactly what are we going to ask them to do? Like, what's our plan? What kind of services are we going to receive?
And is attending a conference the only way to understand what this is? And if so, then maybe we need to do that before we commit to several years at
Maybe
a lot of money. I don't know.
This
and-
long game was a little worrisome, because I thought, oh, maybe a year, maybe two, but if it's going to be 4 or 5 years, it could be $500,000 at the rate of, let's say, 100,000 a year. That's what I heard.
Right.
So long game, the game could be very costly.
And is that the best use, or is that a staff person that specifically goes around doing reading tutoring with, second graders?
Yes, so on the table, a lot of assignments that our staff would have to do. So our staff would have to communicate with them and also communicate with the community.
Brian, I'm
Yeah,
not against it at all.
No, yeah, let me
Just
speak
trying
to that. I
understand
appreciate
it.
the willingness to attend some of these events. Estacada has invited us. No, no, no.
What I did hear, and my apprehension at first when Darren asked if I had anything, and I was
You let me
hesitant,
speak.
is that I absolutely understand how important the buy-in piece is from the very first day. And if this is counting as day one and I'm somehow being a naysayer, I don't mean to.
No.
I just know that I need more information in order to really get on board.
Yeah.
Well,
So I appreciate the willingness to get out to see it, because Studer's been very, very welcoming to all of us to go and see it firsthand. Estacada themselves, Ryan has told us, they have, I think, 2 events a year where they invite people from across the country to come and observe. Having worked with at least 3 different strategic planning or portrait of a graduate type organizations, Studer's the only one that has the scorecard. That is a system we do not have. We cannot measure performance or growth or change in 90 days. We can do it in about every 5 months, and it's more like an autopsy. So we get results, and then we see what we maybe could have done in the past. This is a whole different look at that once there's been a common baseline established. And I don't mean just with instruction. It really, from the first-hand things I've seen in T area in South Dakota, and then in when we were in Colorado, establishing that baseline of performance and of service, and then the scorecard shows where that is, and it's very they're frequent. They're like 30 to 60 days, and then you make tweaks to make those improvements. So those are the kind of systems we do not have. We haven't had. A lot of districts don't have. They wait till the end of the year, they get the results, and then that's our results. And those haven't changed in a long time. There is some amazing hotspots in our district. I shared at convocation 13 grade levels that were 50% or above, and some of those classrooms had 75% of their students proficient or above. Yet our district average is 31 right now for math. And so that's the those are the systems that we do not have in place, and it shows in our results. Not in the day-to-day work. Our RLT, our ALT, Administrative Leadership Team, Ramona Leadership Team, all the different efforts that Ed Services does are dynamic, and really where that's been embraced in certain classrooms, it's significant. So to answer that question about what kind of systems, it's about deciding where that's going to be from board goals, community goals, district employee goals, and putting those into some very simple, at least in T area, I think it's 4 kind of pillars that they have around service, and then measuring that and making adjustments to make sure you're still aiming to that. And those are things that we don't have. They're things that other strategic organizations that help schools move have, but they lack the measurement piece that I see with Studer. So, but I appreciate the willingness to go, because I know that we can work that out with us to take board members to see this in action. And so, yeah, it isn't a quick fix. There's companies that come in to do this work, and they're out in a year, and districts might have a good year, and then they don't. So that's what I appreciate about this, is the long term. But
so is Studer then providing a staff person that's here in our district, like back when we had energy days running around helping change the culture, in our district regarding energy usage? Is it like that?
Not a full-time person. No, they don't just plop down here, because there's a lot of daily work that we're all doing. But they do provide a coach that works with Cabinet and me at first, like you heard from Ryan, and then that cascades down. And the book explains more about that you'll read about how the cascading leadership practices, and that's why it is a longer-term effort. It's not an overnight piece, but there's some significant change in school districts across the country that have happened as a result of that. I think Ryan said it's his coach was what did he say, a red phone type of person when there were issues around all of that. And we heard at the conference from principals who said, gosh, we went 2 months and I felt like there wasn't a lot of change. I would call the coach and they'd walk us through our data and see that maybe there really was change, or why there wasn't change. So it's not something that you're looking at the end of a year like we have to do now. So, but attending some of these will be good opportunities for the board to kind of see it firsthand.
Okay.
So thank you for that willingness.
For taking the time to explain.
Yeah.
Dan Summers?
Thank you. I'm kind of in the same boat that Don is. This is our initial exposure presentation to a very complex organization that is long-term, and I think initially we're talking about overhauling the perspective of the leadership team. Initially, I think that is part of phase one to overhaul that perspective. And I would need to learn a lot more about it, kind of like Don, to get a better handle on whether it's a good thing for Ramona.
Loud and clear. Maya, did you have more? You know what the best part of this whole presentation is? The fact that it has sparked a conversation that this board has not had in a long time. I've been on this board 9 years, my 9th year, and we haven't had a meaningful conversation on strategic planning. And this is the start. We've taken one step of a marathon, probably, but the key is taking that first step towards your goal, whatever that wants to be. So, Dr. Thurman, what I've heard tonight is that we want to learn more, we want to engage. We're not sold yet. I think Don said we haven't drank the Kool-Aid yet. Was that you?
Me.
Okay. But I think that it's a fair statement to say for this board based on what I'm hearing. Now, I will say that I love the passion and enthusiasm that staff has for this program. Yes. So I am 49% there based on their staff, based on their enthusiasm and passion for this, because we have subject matter experts to guide us along. They don't make these decisions for us, but they guide us towards what good looks like. So, Dr. Thurman, if we could just continue this process, I think there's a really good chance that we'll be where staff recommends us to be at the end. But we just need to learn more. We need to build that passion that you two have. Let's figure out what next steps are to get there. And maybe it's a workshop first, maybe it's a field trip first, I don't know. But help us get there, and maybe Studer can help us get there too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
If I may add just maybe 2 quick little points, if y'all don't mind. So I think that something you just said answers a little bit to what Mr. Dome, pardon me, I apologize if I mispronounced that you were asking about earlier, and building that buy-in around it. And Dr. Thurman referenced T area in South Dakota earlier, and I think it must have been October 2023 when you first joined DHP, Destination High Performance in T area, and saw that work live and in person. And one of the things that happened there for that buy-in is exactly what Mr. Drum is explaining right now, where people are raising their hand and saying, I need this and I need to experience it so I can continue to do better for the district and for my students. And so when we talk about buy-in, I think that's one of the keys to it, is exactly what you're hearing from those that have experienced it through some of the conferences or attending some of our partner visits. And then the last bit, the last point that I think that I'll add is, if you want to experience it, we've got conferences and opportunities. Our partners are typically willing to let you join in on a conversation that we're having with them, or in person. Of course, there's conference visits. We've got one coming up in July in Chicago, but we also just held a virtual conference, and I think that's a really low effort, if you will, in terms of costs and expenses and time, because you don't have to spend it traveling. And I would be happy to, all of the sessions were recorded. I would be happy to send you all registration codes if you wanted to engage in that content at no cost. Be happy to set that up for you and make sure that you had it if you think that would be valuable and useful. So Dr. Thurman, perhaps that's something you and I can follow up on if you think that would be beneficial. If not, we'll make sure that we get you all set up with ways to engage in the learning in meaningful ways, I think. So I appreciate you all allowing us to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I think that'd be great just to help increase the kind of exposure and learning about the processes and the big picture. That'd be excellent to start with those virtual
Of course. I think
ones.
that virtual conference is maybe a really good first step. You'll hear from a couple of your partner districts throughout the state of California, Hemet being one. I think someone earlier asked about, well, why not hire somebody? Well, Hemet did exactly that. They hired somebody at every single one of their campuses, but they didn't do the work underneath it, and it didn't work. And so it wasn't until they did that, and they tell that story to a degree. Sean Tenenbaum tells his story and the work that he's done in his district. So there's a couple of your colleagues throughout the state that share some of that work that I can set up for you guys.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Are there any other questions for staff, our staff or Studer staff?
Not this time.
All right, thank you so much. We appreciate
Thank you
your time.
all. We really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and the rest goes very smoothly for you.
Thank
Take
you
care,
both so
y'all.
much. We appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Have a good evening.
Izzy, you don't have to stick around.
Feel free, Izzy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
It's-
almost 10 o'clock.
It's up to you guys, but like, hey, Mom, come on. Okay, in the interest of efficiency, let's keep moving. Next item on the agenda is item E1, which is public comment. These are requests to address the board. Mr. Doan, do we have any speaker slips?
I don't have any.
All right, we're going to move right along. Next item on the agenda is item F2, which is approval of instructional materials for history and social science, grades 2 K through 8.
Good evening, Governing Board. I'm going to do my introduction to each item on fast forward just a little bit because it's so late. We are excited to bring Cheryl Armstrong, our teacher on assignment, up tonight to share with you the information about the K-8 pilot that has happened this whole school year. And we're bringing the materials back for you for approval. And so the board received these materials in April of 2024, so almost a full year ago. And then the pilot started in August, and then we piloted 2 different sets of materials, and Cheryl is here to give a little bit of background and information about that.
Cheryl, thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for staying.
Yes, it's my bedtime, actually. Way past my bedtime. So good evening, board. I'm pleased to be here to represent our K-8 pilot team, bring forth a recommendation for materials for kindergarten through 8 history, social science. The last time the district approved and adopted materials for K-8 was back in 2006 and 2007. So we needed to find some materials that not only met our instructional focus, which was adopted in 2014, but also the history social science framework, which was adopted by the state in 2016. Our pilot teachers dedicated the entire past year to this process, starting off with professional learning on the history standards and the framework. They piloted, as Leslie mentioned, both McGraw-Hill and Teachers Curriculum Institute, TCI, in the fall and then in the spring, and met along the way for pulse check meetings and evaluation of the materials. It's been a really full year of learning with history, social science. So our team, this recommendation stems from the hard work of our pilot team. We had 20 teachers go down to the Learning Resource Center down at the county office and evaluate and review all 8 CDE recommended K-8 materials, and they chose McGraw-Hill and TCI to pilot. And then we have 27 teachers across all grade levels and school sites represented to pilot those materials, starting in the fall and continuing through this past April. Additionally, we had our community and family partners involved in the process. The materials have been here in the board since last year. There has been an instructional materials survey on the district website that our community could provide input on. And our parents had an opportunity to engage with the materials not only at school site council meetings, but also through our district advisory committee and our DLAC. To evaluate the materials, the teachers went through a comprehensive review on 5 really in-depth rubrics for a total of 42 different components that they were evaluating the materials on. The first one being the connection to the standards and alignment with the framework. The second one, what kinds of opportunities do students have learning? How are they going to engage with the materials? Program organization for both students and for teachers. The fourth one is on assessment and student monitoring. Formatively and summatively, how does that support our teachers knowing what our students are able to do with the materials? And then finally, how do the curricula really support our teachers and support them being able to provide comprehensive lessons? So those rubrics, those 5 different rubrics, form the basis of our initial evaluation of the materials to determine McGraw-Hill and TCI, but also at each step of the way through our pulse check meetings, and finally the evaluation after each particular pilot. They were, the teachers provided a lot of data and review on to meet those rubrics. The recommendation for TCI is based on all of the pilot teachers' work and learning over the course of this year. It was 100% a teacher's decision, and they made this decision to recommend TCI, selecting the curriculum that they thought was best to serve our RUSD students. Some of the strengths of the curriculum that they noticed was primarily student engagement and enjoyment. The program offers our students the types of experiences that support our district instructional focus and our collective commitments, and we got feedback time and time again on how much the students just loved learning about history. This program aligns with our commitment to have family partnerships as well, and we note that some of our teachers at MVA noted that it's just a really family-friendly curriculum. The parents were engaging with it, the students were engaging with it, and one of our DLAC family members and part of our DLAC leadership team, she was super excited about the components that they could toggle back and forth between English and Spanish, and she could learn along with her children, and she was just beyond excited about that, and that just, I don't know, I was really happy to hear that. And in our DAC, the parents noted that the materials just were really engaging, a lot of different opportunities for students to engage with debates and simulations, and really ways to make history come alive. But with all of the data, it's really great to see the curriculum in action, and our pilot teachers shared some photos from their classes, and you see on the far left we've got a class of first graders interacting with TCI history games. In the top right we have students interacting with primary source images, and then in the bottom right we have our students in 6th grade using the reciprocal teaching strategy to engage in the, to make meaning of the texts that they were reading. More examples show, we heard earlier about the colonial fair, so our students were able to immerse themselves in history, expanding their learning with research on colonial times. And then in the top right picture, students were truly immersed in learning by becoming the literal Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea and the desert, and really making a human map of that. Those were also our 6th graders. And then the bottom images are from our middle school, demonstrating learning through the digital platform. The curriculum offers multiple opportunities for students to reflect on their understanding of the materials and make connections to their personal experiences and build that background knowledge. These are some examples from 5th grade. And then finally, we have some examples from 7th grade, where our 7th grade students had to research 10 leading Renaissance figures and determine why they thought they were the most influential figure of that time. So in addition to these one-pagers that they did, they had to do a speed debate, going from student to student, classmate to classmate, to allow them to share out and provide their arguments and their rationale, and have opportunities for collaboration as well as really important language development. So our feedback from our teachers was consistently real positive. Overall, like I had mentioned, the students were really enjoying history. And we learned at a recent Ramona leadership team meeting all about the critical importance of having content area literacy and building background knowledge. The teachers, 100%, their decision, they selected these materials that meet our rigorous rubric evaluation and provide quality instruction to address all areas of our district instructional focus and be in line with building those necessary, that background knowledge and comprehension skills through history and learning to love history.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Cheryl, any
Dan,
questions?
why don't you go first?
Okay. We all had the opportunity to review these textbooks a while back. I found them to be excellent. The teachers have piloted them. The students like them. The parents seem to like them. This is a discussion possible action item, and I would move to approve.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? And then we'll continue the discussion if we do.
That is a motion to approve TCI.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any other comments or questions for staff?
Yes, I only got to view one grade. If I remember, it was a while ago. I think it was grade 8 I had. Yeah, and I thought it was fine. But one of the things I think would be helpful, because there's all, I mean, no matter what the textbook or curriculum is, there's always going to be somebody that has some concern. We have on our website the ability to express a concern, but I've gone there, I asked for that, and it's not clear exactly what the concern is for, in my opinion. So if we could overhaul it so that it is very clear that if you have a concern with curriculum, you can respond here. If you have a concern with anything other than curriculum, you can respond here. Because, yeah, I don't think it's very clear. And I just think it will make us better, because if there's an issue or something, then we can improve it, you know. What was the other thing I was thinking of? The part where you mentioned that I guess on the online portion you can click on it and then it is multilingual. Is it just Spanish and English?
It's just English and Spanish, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I know we're starting to get a lot, or we have gotten through the last 10 years, lots of refugees all over the county of different languages. So I was just curious.
Yes, so the materials can be toggled back and forth between English and Spanish, but through other Chrome browser features, you can have translations as needed into a variety of other languages. But the curriculum itself is just those two.
Yeah, I know. You could use your phone and just take a picture. And translate it to.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was just curious about that. I think that if we just do something with our website, I think that could address at least what I didn't read. I don't know what it is. Thanks.
Any other comments or questions for staff before we call for the question? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And Dr. Thurman, there is a request for follow-up to have, if somebody could contact Mr. Dome and find out what his concerns are, get a little bit more input, and see what we can do to make the process clearer. All right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Go home and get ready for bed.
I just realized I've had one more question.
One more question.
Yeah, just one more. It's simple.
Sorry. It was a tease.
Outside of the textbook and the online, again, I'll say it, curriculum as well, is there any other supplemental curriculum that the teachers are using or developed?
No. I
Okay.
mean, no.
Okay.
There is the, you've got the online curriculum that mirrors the text curriculum, and that's the curriculum.
Okay. Just wondered.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, no problem.
Make a run for it before somebody has another question. All right. Next item on the agenda is item F3, which is the approval of instructional materials for Fire Technology 1 and 3.
Yes, Governing Board, we have been also piloting the materials for Fire Technology 1 and 3. This course was approved in December of 2023, and you've seen it highlighted in the news and all over social media. We would just love it if the board would approve the instructional materials as presented this evening.
Dan Summers?
It's all yours.
I've been to 2 fire academies. You probably have too, sir. And the books I had in the academies were half the size of this book. This book covers everything, and I would like to move to approve.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on this topic?
No.
All right. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item F4. This is a report on pilot of instructional curriculum for Ethnic Studies ELA course, Units 4 and 5. This is an information item only.
Yes, the last item from Education Services tonight is just bringing forward Units 4 and 5. We have, as mentioned in previous board meetings, we've learned a lot along this process and writing our own curriculum, and are eager to actually start doing some of the revisions on the earlier units and give access back to the board on a couple of those. But tonight we bring 4 and 5, and you will see that the proposed date for pilot on this would be in the fall of 2025. We'll bring back our units potentially May of 2026, or we'll bring them back unit by unit as the pilot finishes. That's still to be determined at this point. This is an information item. All of the typical pilot requirements will be met as far as it's going to be after the May board meeting and all these have been approved. Then we'll switch over to the 25-26 year, which means it will go out in the hallway. It'll be added to the instructional materials survey that's on the webpage for pilot. And it will also go, it's been going to the Multicultural Committee, the DAC, and the DLAC, and it will continue to go to all of our advisory committees as any units are revised, just as the board will receive those revisions as well. And then there will be a final, this is it, there's no more revisions, and that's what we'll bring back to the board for approval. Again, very unique when we're building our own curriculum, and so as discussed, timelines shift a little bit, and revisions will need to be made as we go, as we learn more. Information item.
Well said. Any questions for staff before we move on?
Just,
How many teachers will be piloting this ethnic studies course?
We do not have the answer to that yet.
And also no answer to how many students will be participating?
Correct.
And is the answer if
don't have the answer to that yet. They will on May 13th. Because of the, as you know, in those board memos, we had to move the timeline back because it took us a little bit longer to develop these units. And what the end result of that was those units couldn't get taken to the last multicultural committee meeting, so another one had to be called, and it is being called on May 13th at 3:45. I believe that was in an email that went out to the board yesterday, and also a Zoom link I think Karina sent out earlier this week as well. At this point, we're going to continue to develop our curriculum in-house and not seek input from though we welcome feedback from the board and from all of our advisory groups and any parents and community members through the instructional materials survey.
Is that it? Oh, later on or right now? Oh, okay. I just wanted to thank our curriculum writers. I really appreciate you capturing the essence of what I was talking about the celebration part. And you did it kind of like a cause and effect, because at the end, they get to talk about what really affected them. I thought it was awesome. So well done. Thank you so much.
Okay, Maya, did you have more questions?
I have more information. It's an information item, yes.
It's an item for staff to share information with us on units 4 and 5 specifically.
Yeah.
So you have information that you want to share with staff on units 4 and 5? Is that where we're going?
I would like to request this item maybe to be tabled until next time, because we don't have enough time. According to our pilot process, we need to get those minutes about a month.
Is your mic
prior
on?
to-
I'm sorry, I
Yes,
can't hear you.
Prior to the board meeting. So yes, it's on, but I don't know if it's working.
It's
Is it
dead.
Okay.
It's dead.
Okay, maybe I can use somebody else's microphone, okay. So according to our pilot process, oh, that's so much better, okay. We're supposed to have a month, it's supposed to be submitted about a month in advance to the board. I've been getting those units consistently about 2 weeks prior, or 10 days prior. For example, Unit 4 was provided to us on April 17th, Unit 5 was given to us on April 29th, and Unit 4 contains 53 hyperlinks alone.
Could you slow down just a little bit?
Yes.
So, because I'm having trouble following you.
Okay. Ramona Unified School District's wide pilot process and says the board shall have a minimum of 1 month to review materials prior to the board meeting, regardless of whether or not the item is from information or action. However, the timeline has been not followed. For example, Unit 4 was provided to the board on April 17th. Unit 5 was provided to the board on April 29th. So I would like to request that this information item be tabled until next month, as we were not provided adequate time to
We've
thoroughly
already
examine.
completed the informational item.
It's just an information.
Yeah, it's,
We don't take action on the information item, and a motion to table wouldn't be necessary. It's just information, we're not going to take any other action, so there's no need to table.
The other thing is we are going to eventually take action on all of it. So in some ways, this is a really refreshing way of doing it, because we've never been able to have a deep dive into any curriculum like this, where this like, here's a textbook, you get a month to look at it, and now you're going to approve to pilot it, and then it goes through the pilot, then you come back and it's recommended to either move forward or not.
they're bringing us along slowly.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
this is wonderful. I'm like,
Thank you.
we never get this, so thank you so much.
Okay.
I guess then if I have something to say, I should say not now, but when.
Well, you made a request that's inappropriate. That is
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't
Okay.
follow Robert's
So-
rules.
But I had some information on those items 4 and 5 as well, because we had received a memo, for example, and I would like to address the May 2nd memo that we received, which emphasized that no lesson promotes in units 4 and 5 or in the entire ethnic studies, promote illegal activity, protest, or lobbying. While I appreciate the clarification, but the memo omits a key term from our board policy on controversial issues, namely political activism. This term appears first in the sentence I quoted during the last meeting. Let me read the full sentence again for clarity. Political activism and the activities of protesting and lobbying are reserved for students to practice outside of the class syllabus.
Where does it say that in there?
It says in the memo we received.
Oh, I thought you were saying it was on here. Okay.
No.
The memo.
I'm
Yeah,
addressing the memo.
So where are you going with it? Because it talks about it in our board policy, and it says they're reserved for outside the classroom, so that it's not disruptive.
Right.
What's your issue with the with 4 or 5 specifically?
That it actually promotes political activism, although the memo claims that no lessons provide illegal activity, protest, or lobbying, but they do provide actually promote political activism. But the quote does not reflect this. The quote does not reflect our board policy in full, because our board policy has also political activism in the same sentence, which was omitted, which is in the Unit 5.
Okay. Can staff look into that and respond? Thank you. Your next item?
For example, evidence in activism. I can just quote you.
So hang on. Staff is going to look into that and respond. Specifically the activism part.
So you're saying, let me just look at Unit 5. Can you just point out where that was? So I know.
I'm referring to the workbook. So in the memo, there is a workbook that was linked to it, and you have a copy of this workbook, and it just indicates what is or is not in Unit 5.
So staff is going to look into that and respond.
But there are also so many other things that the memo or the workbook claim, and they, I think, misquote or omit or don't quote everything from appropriate board policy. Or
So would you be willing to submit those to staff?
Yes, I have it all here.
Okay, can you submit those
memo.
to staff and let them look into it and respond?
And the memo that you're referring to, not every lesson or every activity is addressed. There's just examples of.
What's
So
examples
there's
that I
just
saw?
examples of different components of what would be considered potentially activism or something like that, and we were very clear to ensure that nothing was illegal or inciting the harm or negative or what Mr. Summers talked about in the last board meeting. We ensured that there was nothing like that we could find. And honestly, if somebody finds it, point it out, because we have gone through that. We've had multiple people gone through it. We've had AI check it. So I'm happy to have somebody correct me if there is something in there that had the intention, as you heard Julia last month, to have anything that is illegal promotion in our curriculum. That would never be something we would want to have. So if it comes across that way, that isn't the intent, and we need to clarify the language.
Yep. Speaking of AI, for example, I was wondering if excluding white Americans from studying Core 4 would be civil rights violation of Title VI, and AI said yes, it's actually excluding any race, Core 4 or not, is actually racial discrimination under Title VI of our Civil Rights Act. So I don't know if we trust AI, we trust on both or none. So because we are apparently violating Civil Rights Act by excluding white Americans from studying from this Core 4 group.
So if you could include that in your...
It's all included. Everything's included in here.
But we don't see it.
And I will say white Americans are not excluded from this, because we have lots of white students, and they're a part of the process of learning about themselves and their ancestry and all of those things. I mean, that's not a requirement of the ethnic studies course, but that's a great point, and I would say that they're not excluded from it, because we have lots of white students, and they're getting a lot of, like, especially in Unit 1, that there's going to be quite a few revisions to that, but especially in Unit 1 where we're looking at ourselves and we're talking about ourselves and our ancestry and our, where we come from and all those pieces. So they actually are addressed throughout the units.
And also, for example, a memo stresses, we don't promote any like illegal or unlawful protest, but actually our board policy does not specify unlawful or legal, just any protest, any lobbying, any political activism, lawful or legal or not. It does not belong to the classroom. But Unit 5 is rife with phrases like students' research activism, collective action, promoting lawful civic change, advocating for change, students' design projects, and so forth.
May I interrupt you again?
Yeah.
I think we've covered where we want to go, and you're going to submit these to staff, correct? These concerns to staff and
I
let
would
them
like
address
also
them?
the board hear their concerns too at some point.
I'm sorry, what did you
I
say?
would like the board to hear them too.
Okay,
At some point.
how about when we vote on this? Because right now it's information only.
Yeah.
And what you're saying really is not an action item. So for us to have an in-depth conversation right now might not be appropriate. We should. It's for information only, and if we dive too deep into it, the public doesn't have an opportunity. This was agendized to the public as an information only item.
I'm providing information.
But it's for staff to provide information, not us.
Can I just clarify? I just want to read the policy.
Jump in there.
Because I think the question is about the policy and maybe it's a little misunderstood. So I'm just going to read it because there's the way that it's written, there's a spirit about it. Okay? Political opinions are for students to examine and determine for themselves. You're doing that through this. Okay? Instruction shall be imparted on how to instruction shall be imparted on how to petition the government and other entities for redress, including lobbying and protesting.
Yes.
So they can be instructed on how to do it.
Yes.
Political activism and the activities of protesting and lobbying are reserved for students to practice outside of the class syllabus, meaning not on campus.
Right. And nobody's going to be
So
lobbying in the
we need
quad.
to teach about it. People need to know, how things work in the government. I think it's important that they know. We shouldn't deny that. But they need to know that it's inappropriate to do this stuff on our campus. That's all.
They'll just do it on the edge when the dress code's up for conversation, right? They already know that.
Just sitting back there doing nothing, and bam! Well, you guys are awake.
But Maya, if you think that there's a violation of this policy, please pass it on, because if it's there,
Okay, we'll pass it
we
on.
messed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some other examples that raise my concern, so I will pass it on.
Please, very much so. All right, let's move on to the next item on our agenda. This is going to be item G3, which is approval of uniform complaint quarterly report. These are the Williams case complaints.
Members of the board, as required on a quarterly basis, we need to report if we've received any Williams case complaints during the time period of January 1st, 2025 through March 31st, 2025, and the report will indicate that we have not received any Williams complaints during that time period. We're asking that the board approve the quarterly report so that we can report it to the County Office of Education.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept this.
I move approval.
Roger moves approval. I will second it. All those in favor of approving the quarterly Williams case complaint reports?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-1 with one board member absent.
Here he is.
Next item on the agenda.
I think you should have just said he was present.
I get it. Next item on the agenda is item G4, which is the approval of declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 2025-2026 school year.
As the board knows, sometimes it is difficult to hire teachers, new teachers, to our area due to the ruralness of Ramona as well as just California in general. And so teachers that aren't fully credentialed, they may be missing a certain piece, the English learner authorization or other aspects. So the county office requires that we submit a declaration of need where we estimate the number of positions that will need potentially waivers and short-term staff permits, other items that will help teachers who are not fully credentialed, become hired while they continue to pursue their credential. So we're asking the board approve the attached declaration of need for fully qualified educators.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any conversation or questions for staff? All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item G5. This is the oral report summarizing recommendation for action on compensation for 3 assistant superintendent contracts. Bear with me while I read this right out of the report.
Mr. Drum, just before you do, one clarification at the bottom there. This is not a discussion, possible action item as indicated. It is information only.
Thank you for the clarification.
The first part.
Sorry, what?
No, I was just saying this part, which leads into actions.
So, this is item G5. I will read it as it goes as follows. Government Code Section 54953, subsection C, subsection 3, states that prior to taking final action on executive compensation, the board must orally summarize the recommendation for final action on the salary, compensation, and/or fringe benefits that will be considered. The proposed amendments provide the following provisions regarding compensation. The contract term for Assistant Superintendent Tori Long shall be from July 1, 2025 through July 30, 2028. The salary for this contract in the 25-26 work year shall be grade 33, step 3 of the Management and Confidential Salary Schedule, currently at $169,256 annual salary, and advancing 1 step on the schedule for each complete year worked during the contract term. Number 2, the contract term for Assistant Superintendent Leslie Wilson shall be from July 1st, 2025 through July 30, 2028. The compensation for this contract in the 2025-2026 work year shall be grade 33, step 7 of the Management Confidential Salary Schedule, currently at $186,826 annual salary, and advancing 1 step on the schedule for each complete year working through the contract term. The contract term for Assistant Superintendent Tony Newman shall be from July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2028. There is no change in salary as he will remain at grade 33, step 8 for the duration of the contract term. That concludes item G5. We're going to move on to item G6, which is consideration and action on recommendation for approval of amendment to the Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services contract.
Members of the board, as just recently summarized, this is a proposal to amend the contract for Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services, Tori Long. This contract, or the amendment, includes changes to term and compensation.
I'll move approval of the amendment.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion?
Well, so I understand the increase in salaries are about $4,000 for both assistant superintendents.
Yep.
So from 165 approximately thousand to 169 for Tori Long, and from 182 to 186,000 for.
We're only talking about Ms. Long right
Ms.
now.
Long at the
Okay.
moment, yeah.
Okay.
So does that conclude your comment?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
All right. Motion carries 4-1. Next item on the agenda is item G7. This is the consideration action of recommendation for approval of amendment to the Assistant Superintendent of Education Services contract.
As mentioned in the oral summary, this is an amendment to the contract for Assistant Superintendent Leslie Wilson of Education Services. It includes changes to the term and compensation.
I'll move approval of the amendment.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
Also, I noticed that increases $4,000 from 182 to 186,000.
Okay.
I appreciate Leslie Wilson for taking this small raise
Yeah.
because down the hill, this would be the same pay as a principal. So thank you for staying. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Tori. And thank you, Tony.
All right. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Next item on the agenda is item G8. This is the consideration and action on recommendation for approval of amendment to the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources contract.
Members of the board, this is an amendment to the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources contract, Tony Newman. This includes changes to only the term of the contract, no salary change.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Any comments or questions for staff?
Yes, just I was informed that so it stays without no change at 191,000. No change.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Maya, I didn't hear your vote. Was that an aye?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
In my district, a director two makes $250,000 a year.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to move right along, Mr. Dome.
Zip
sorry,
it.
I'm just like random information. I'm Jeopardy tonight.
Next item on the agenda is item G9. This is the approval of AB 1200 disclosure costs and approval of management and confidential salary schedule.
Members of the board, our management confidential salary schedule was being brought forward with a proposal to approve a 2% raise retroactive to July 1st, 2024 for those that are on the management salary schedule for the current school year. This brings this in alignment with the similar deal for classified and certificated. There are provisions outlined in here with respect to qualifications that need to be met in order for that payment to be made. And there was a AB 1200 provided to the county office for a review of this agreement as well.
Thank you, sir.
I move approval.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions or comments for staff? All those in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Got 4-1. Vote passes. Next item on the agenda is item H1. This is the approval of contracted services. This was pulled from consent.
Yes.
Right.
Maya, would you like to go over why you pulled it?
Yes, I had a question about contract for education services, conscious thinking, professional development for 29,000. I was wondering, first, how did you decide to get this contract, and how is it going to improve test scores? What is it going to do for us, this contract? Can this grant be used for something else? Educator effectiveness grant.
No, the funds can only be used for professional development. We heard about conscious teaching through our superintendent who had experienced some phenomenal professional development previously. So we brought conscious teaching in last year with our Educators Academy, and the feedback results were, the feedback results were through the, it's almost 11 o'clock. The feedback results were through the roof for those sessions, and that was just a small group of people who we were working towards growing their understanding and just growing them as professionals and leaders within our district, and decided that with this educator effectiveness, this is the last year we have this professional development money to spend, that we really wanted to get the most bang for our buck. And so since it was such a reviewed from all of our teachers training, we're bringing back that trainer, and we are doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sessions with her. The first one starting with Teaching 101. We are bringing in all of our brand new teachers after their new teacher orientation, and they will get Teaching 101 in the afternoon. We're also going to pull back to these first year teachers and invite them to come in as well. And if we still have room in the pod, we're going to go to the year previous. That's how good this is. The others are, it's a lot about engagement, the engaged brain, and keeping kids engaged in the classroom. We know our students in the classroom are very different than they used to, and we need lots of ways to keep them engaged. It's about group work. It's about, do I have your attention? It's about teaching with trauma in mind and designing lessons for participation of students. So those are all of the titles of all of the sessions, and it is absolutely phenomenal professional development.
So you're looking at some titles, you're looking at some document related to this contract?
Yes.
Would it be possible for me to read that too, please?
It will be in a board update when we send out all of the information on all of our new staff pathways. So you'll see all of these sessions plus all of the other sessions we'll be offering as well.
Can we please table this contract until we read this information about this contract first?
It wouldn't be a question to me to table this contract. And I
Just
wouldn't, because this trainer is somebody who has now been tagged at a nationwide conference, and if we lose our dates because we are not approving the PO, we will lose her to other people. So I wouldn't make that recommendation.
When
no.
is the first date?
August 4th.
So will not be too late if we move it to next month?
It would be, because her availability could go. I mean, we're already waiting for POs are closed, and we have other professional development people who want us to give them a PO right now, and we have to wait till June 9th, and we're hoping we get the right trainer because we're waiting. Because when you find a good trainer, you don't want to lose them.
Leslie, I'd like to make a motion that we move approval on this item H1 for all the contracted services.
Second.
Yeah.
All right. We have a motion and a second.
Oh, yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay, so we have, motion carries 4-0 with 1 abstained member. Next item on the agenda is item H4. This is the approval of declaration of surplus items January 1st through March 31st, 2025.
Governing Board, we have a rather short list of items to surplus for the last quarter. Most of the items listed are technology devices that are no longer usable because they are either broken or no longer supported due to their age. It is recommended that the board approve this list as is so that the district can take further action to purge these items for our inventory.
I move to approve.
I'll second. I'll second.
So we've got Board Member Summers with the motion, Board Member Dome with the second.
Yes, I
Done?
have a question. So this list is a little bit shorter. Does that mean that we've finally gotten caught up with the surplus items? The sites are cleaned up, or not yet?
I can't confirm or deny that, because what we do is we open the workbook for them to report the items, and it's open for the quarter, and then it's shut off at a certain time. I would like to think so, but I can find out and get back to you on that with a definitive answer.
Kind of backed up there for a little bit, so hopefully we're getting caught up. Thank you.
Can we donate the typewriter to the Sentinel?
Would you like a or a large, older typewriter?
Or to the Woodward Museum. And we might be able to put it in the Guy Woodward Museum. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is item H5, which is the approval of acceptance of gifts.
Thank you, President Drum. Governing Board, this evening, we request approval to accept the generous donations provided by the James Dukes PTA, Poway Costco, and Ransom Brothers.
Wow. That's pretty generous.
I'd like to move approval of acceptance of these gifts.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I would like to make a suggestion to staff. that if, upon completion of the renovations of the bathroom, could we,
Ribbon cutting with toilet paper?
a ribbon cutting with something, and maybe even look into some sort of celebration, take a board meeting to James Dukes, I don't know.
All sorts of jokes possible there, Darren.
Right. I didn't get it, but I do now. Conduct a board meeting in at James Dukes Elementary, if that's an option, if that's the will of the board.
Well, at
But
the
do
very
something.
least, some of us will be there for sixth grade promotion coming up just in a few short weeks, and maybe just thank the PTA members profusely.
Nice.
$35,000. I think as a board, we need to give them something tangible, like recognition, a plaque, something that said that this happened, and we are, as a school board, we are grateful. And we have lots of businesses in town capable of producing a plaque.
And maybe
Something to put on the wall.
I'm not sure if I owned a business, I'd want my plaque on the wall in a bathroom, but.
And I do think it invites potential misuse of said memento.
All right, we're going to bring this back down to the fourth grade level. But
Please express our appreciation. to the
absolutely,
PTA
and
in the best way possible.
and if there's some way we can have an actual ribbon cutting, a celebration of their efforts.
And President Drum, I apologize, I did not inform you sooner. We have looked into, Ed Services has worked with Tech to look into an actual board meeting at other sites, and the cost is prohibitive with the sound equipment and the camera equipment specifically that we
Understood.
would need. But they did look and explore a couple different options on how we could do that. It is expensive, but a ribbon cutting ceremony or something to celebrate the community would be excellent, I think, to show.
Oh.
We just have good representation at their next
That's a great
meeting,
idea.
Whatever that would be, someone in person to.
With a plaque.
With a plaque.
If you need scissors, I have scissors that are 3 feet long.
Roger has the scissors we may need.
Yeah, I've got the big ribbon cutting scissors.
All right. Sorry, I'm going to bring this back home. We went down a rabbit hole. Next item on the agenda is item I-1, which is board member request for reimbursement to public school employer for release time to attend board-related events. Dr. Thurman, is this you?
Yes, President Drum and members of the board, Board Member Roger Dome has requested that the school district reimburse Poway Unified for the cost of a substitute teacher and any related administrative costs to allow him to attend the following board-related event. This is the May Revision Budget Perspectives Workshop that many of us are attending. As you remember from we've had an agenda item like this earlier, that Ed Code 44987.3 entitled Certificated Employees to take up to 20 days of absences to participate in public service on a public school board, among other specified groups, commissions, and boards. So this request, one of the requirements is that the board has to take action prior to the event, of which the board member is requesting the reimbursement.
So some months ago, we had conversation about this as an agenda item, and we approved some days. Is this a day in addition, or is this replacing something else that didn't pan out? Because I know we were looking at it like, okay, a set number of days that we had in mind when we approved that.
Yes. So what we approved then was the first budget perspectives workshop of the financial season, and we approved the CSBA attendance at the end of the calendar year, but we did not approve this particular one. So this would be an additional one. It's this budget perspectives workshop is regarding the May revise.
Well, how many days were we allowing? I thought there was something with that on the CSBA conference. How many days would we put?
Yeah, we put 3 days of up to 3 days approval, and it's probably only going to be 2.
Right.
But it was specific to that event, so the way the Ed Code works is this: we have to have prior approval for the specific.
Oh, we have to be
request.
specific. We can't just say,
Yes.
give them 10.
Yes.
Or,
Right,
okay.
Right. Yes.
I'll move approval.
I'll second it. Any questions or comments for staff? All those in favor?
I'm abstain.
Motion carries 4, 0, and 1. 4 voted yes, 0 against, and no abstentions.
Well, no, I'm an abstain.
I'm sorry, 1 abstention. Sorry. Next item on the agenda is item I2, which is Superintendent's Report.
Yes. President Drum, members of the board, I'm going to make this brief. I wanted to just touch on a few things. We've got a picture coming up here in a minute, but first we had a last whole school evacuation drill of all 6 elementary programs, and it went very well. This was at Ramona Elementary. They had one of the more complicated sites because we had bus pickups at 3 different areas. We included the Head Start preschool, 47 students and I think 15 adults. So the entire Head Start preschool was walking down 8th to get on a bus. We had some of our classrooms exiting to the south and getting on a couple buses there, and the rest of the campus was up front. That from the time that they got the call that buses were going to be showing up to the time that they got their students on the bus, for the most part, was 21 minutes. We were short a bus, so we had to wait for one of the buses to drop students off and come back. And even with doing that, it was 48 minutes total for picking up all of the students and getting them off campus. So the recommendation from the fire chief at the time to me was we may need to get students off campus and have about 60 to 90 minutes warning. So every site has been able to do that within the timeline. Huge thanks to the staff and how they prepared the students. I know some of the special ed classes there did a dry run, so the students would have a little bit more idea of what to expect. So a lot of time goes into these events, both from the staff and the leadership at the school site and the students as well. So we're grateful to Mr. Gunnett and his staff for really taking the time to prepare their students, and it was a very successful event. We used to have 10 to 15 CAL FIRE guys and 5 or 6 CHPs and 9 or 10 sheriffs there at times. This time we had 2 sheriffs, and that was it. We're getting this down. So we are going to be continuing this next year. There's a recommendation from the sheriffs to possibly do a surprise type of situation where we would let families know that maybe, during this time some school will have this over a week period or something. So we'll be looking at that closer. But very pleased with how that's going. We have some pictures here. If you could make those big for us, Sean. Want to give an update on the building identification project. We have not identified the tops of our buildings for aerial identification, so we're working on that now. Our staff is working with Sten at Tremco, who's really helping us make sure we get a really good product, both with just the paint. There's a sunlight additive to help keep it from fading, and so they've looked. Mrs. Long has worked with our M&O manager to look at the materials and the locations. It looks like we're going to be able to do the flat roofs, of course, a lot easier. The angled roofs and the ones with the gravel on top will have to be probably a little bit different product, but it is somewhat of a complicated process. So we are going to get those flat roofs done quick first. This is the I-wing at the high school. So
I thought it was a 1.
I know. Yeah, it is the I-wing. The other wings will have letters as well. We do have some work from input of other deputies on just the door identification. The whole idea is that law enforcement coming onto a campus would be able to identify buildings both from the air and ground and coordinate their efforts there. So we are moving forward. We are not staying away from possible contract work if needed, because this is a student safety issue. We don't want this to be delayed significantly. So we're looking at that right now. It's Teacher Appreciation Week this week. This was started in the 60s and the 50s, sorry. Eleanor Roosevelt established it a little more in 1953. It was expanded to a full week in 1986, and since that original time, it's grown to address all employees of a school district. So every single month there's some group from school counselors, school librarians, school lunch staff, IT professionals, custodial staff through each month of the school year. We are choosing to honor all of our employees very intentionally over the next couple weeks with some breakfast burritos sent to their sites where cabinet members will all be visiting and choosing just to hang out with the sites at each location to share some food with them. Well, board members are also invited. We'll get all those dates and times out. Some of them start as early as 6:30 in the morning when we'll be arriving there and be bringing some burritos. So looking forward to lots of additional celebrations coming up in the next 21 days of school. We thank you all for joining us. You've all signed up for various events. Appreciate you coming out to our sites to celebrate. Just want to extend a heartfelt congratulations to all of our staff members, students, and family for another successful year as we're almost completing the 24-25 school year. So thank you.
That concludes his report. Dan?
I'm good.
Nothing at this time.
Roger?
Yeah, I just wanted to continue just praising our cabinet. I just want you guys to know how grateful I am for your expertise that you bring to the table. And then you're just also so caring with our staff and students. And I see it, and everybody knows it. I recognize that we're in a position this year to give a raise. That doesn't always happen. Not every district is giving raise. Some districts are cutting people. So I'm very grateful that we're able to do that and in our small way be able to reward you for the work that you've done. I wish we could give more, but I hope that you understand that we do very much appreciate all that you do. We were brought attention to this book. I don't think it's really about this book. I think it's about all supplemental books. I know we did have policy where it was, if it's a rated R movie or above, that parents had to opt in to see the movie or opt out, depending upon how we did it. But I don't know if we have a classification for books. I know we have a classification for movies that are on TV, when I turn my TV, or even video games. And so clearly this book should have some kind of a classification. I am embarrassed to read the things I've tabbed in here, and I'm not going to read them. But I don't believe that this, even though it's set as a diary of somebody that is in high school, I do not believe that it's for high school students, just because of what's in it. So I'm suggesting that we bring these policies back and relook at them, because are we filtering our supplemental reading? Are the teachers that are choosing these books, do they understand how to filter through our policies? And maybe we should talk about that.
I agree with you. We have to be very careful and stay surface level here,
Right.
because it may come back to us for a vote, loud and clear.
I'm
And
just saying that we should look at it.
It will come back to us in some way, shape, or form for conversation. So if we keep it at surface level now, it's not going to influence the conversation then.
That's why I'm not mentioning the book.
Thank you,
or
sir.
Talking about what's in it.
Thank you, sir.
But I do think revisiting the policy is a good way of doing it.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
Maya, you
it's,
next up?
yeah, so it's
Please
one.
keep it surface level, like he did.
Yeah, at the last board meeting, I proposed that we take action on this book. Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian prior to the start of the next school year, before the pilot begins, because it's part of the Unit 4 is all about this book. And I suggested this approach because I agreed, of course, with you, Darren, that reviewing the whole list of supplemental literature will take too long. So I said, let's take an action just on this book alone, and you seem to agree with that. I would like...
I
yeah.
agreed that it should come back. Yeah, and I think we all got the book. It's coming back. coming back.
So for yeah, and actually it's also available on Spotify. You can listen to it, and I did listen to it in full. So given this sensitivity, I respectfully request that this book be placed as an action item on the agenda for our June board meeting.
Noted.
A decision must be made before the pilot begins in the fall to prevent potential irreversible harm to our 10th grade students due to all...
Your request is noted. Please stay surface level.
Okay. I will not describe what's in it, but only would say probably that...
Please don't even give opinions.
Okay.
I don't want to poison the water for a meaningful conversation in the future.
Young adult, if it's classified young adult, so it's still adults...
Let's have that conversation when
okay.
it comes back.
All right. One more thing. I had great pleasure attending Naval Junior ROTC Spaghetti fundraiser. I think I was the only board member there, but I had a great conversation with Commander Rick Jordan. I also attended the student art exhibit and to create a gallery on last Friday. Another thing, since my multiple requests to place the elimination of ethnic studies as graduation requirement until the California legislature allocates funding on the district agenda as an action item have been denied, I would like to submit...
Let me address that. There is no current graduation requirement in this district that includes ethnic studies to graduate. Therefore, if we bring it back as and you've been told this multiple times.
Yeah, that's right.
Therefore, if we bring it back, what are we going to discuss? Something that doesn't exist.
I haven't finished yet. I'm not asking. I still haven't finished.
Okay, make your point.
Okay. I would like to submit an alternative agenda request that RUSD will not offer an ethnic studies course beginning with the 25-26 school year and will remove paragraph 13, ethnic studies, from the Administrative Regulation 6143 courses of study until the California legislature appropriates funding for this mandate. And just a moment. And this is based on the fact that on the language of AB 101, which states that the requirement to offer an ethnic studies course by 25-26 school year, just like the graduation requirement provision, would become operative only upon appropriation of funds by the legislature for these proposes in the Annual Budget Act. As of now, no such appropriation has been made. So you all have copies of AB 101. And it says on the bottom of the second page, all those provisions, all the provisions become operative only upon appropriation of money.
Why don't we wait until the May revise and see if it gets funded?
We can do that to you. And the last thing, DEI certification update. During the last board meeting, I raised the issue that the U.S. Department of Education has announced back then that in order to continue receiving federal funding, all states and school districts must submit a certification of compliance with a recent executive order banning diversity, equity, and inclusion policies and programs. The deadline for this certification was April 24th. This requirement mandated every school district in the nation confirm complete elimination of DEI initiatives, as the federal government now considers such programs to constitute race-based discrimination and violation of civil rights laws. And during that meeting, I asked the superintendent whether our district has completed this certification. And I think, Darren, you supported my request and asked the superintendent, yeah, Brian, please update us on that as well. We still don't know. We don't have that update. So I would like now to formally request that superintendent provide the board with an update on our district's compliance status, particularly in light of the recent report that La Mesa Spring Valley School District has already lost $11 million in federal grants.
All right, thank you. I'll close this up. I would like to congratulate our valedictorians that we recognized tonight. I also want to thank the NJROTC Color Guard for their participation in both of our meetings tonight. I thought it added a really nice touch to our recognition ceremony and to our board meeting. I would like to congratulate all of the students that we recognized tonight. And this was a really fulfilling board meeting. We don't get to recognize students as often as we would like to, as I would like to. So congratulations to all of those who were here tonight. Our hurdlers, our FFA students, our NJROTC, our Skills USA teams from Montecito and from the high school. It was a very nice meeting. We will go back into closed session. We may have something to report out. We may not. If there are any questions about the report out, you can certainly reach out to the district office, and we'll provide an accounting of whatever took place in closed session earlier. And I don't know if I said it earlier, but we did not have any items to report out in closed session earlier this evening. Thank you, and we are adjourned from open. We're going into closed.